I don't know when it's actually starting. It, yeah, now it started finally, but it's hard to recognize it. And I'm not talking to myself. Okay, Bree's in the backstage, but we can hear each other. This EV Mux has a backstage feature. I'm not crazy. Okay, I wasn't talking to myself. But hello, hello, hello. I'm gonna, slowly. I know people are just getting notifications. Then they gotta stop what they're doing. They gotta stop working, stop like doing their homework. They gotta stop taking care of kids. They gotta stop whatever they're doing to come into the stream. So I'm gonna pause for a few minutes. I'm gonna work really slow. Bree's also being a Karen right now, sending off a strongly worded email. Give me a second. Yeah, yeah, you had that Karen energy in the keys, boy. What's up, NA? What's up? How you doing today? How's your day going? How are you? Hopefully everything's going good. Um, my days, all right. My days all right. I got some stuff done I need to do, but the most important stuff I have just not done. I have not handled it. Inya in the building. Hello, hello. NA, Inya. The ends. Got the ends in here. Keywan Webster, good to see you again. Been a minute. Hello, hello. Good to see you. Boom.
Okay,
Karen
hi
email sent.
guys. Karen
Hey,
email
what's up,
sent.
y'all? Karen email is sent. So listen, today Bree doesn't really know what we're doing, but I gave her the overview. We're talking about an ism. The ism is going to be consumerism, but we're actually twisting that just a little bit. We saw an anime, Japanese anime called Uzumaki, and it's about spirals. They have, I guess, like a legend of
Hey,
like spirals or mythology around spirals. It's good. You paused. How was yours? I paused. I'm not sure what it is. I've got 5 bars on my internet, but new software. Who this? It's been a day. I've got some stuff done, but the most important stuff I did not get done at all. So I'm being negligent.
let's
I'm self
go.
sabotaging, and I'm waiting for the implosion. What's
I
up,
love
Nova
it.
Rain in the building? Yeah, waiting for that.
That's like sexy time right there.
Thought I was about to say autism. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty sexy. It's I'm gonna get
Implosion.
screwed. I'm gonna get screwed. That's that's how that's gonna
That's
work.
how you get your kicks.
Yeah, man. Man, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes, man, you just want life to take it from you. Sometimes you just want
Take
life to
that,
take it. But
take
I'm not
that.
gonna give it up. I'm not gonna give it up easy.
And
Yeah,
you
man.
know, it be like that. That ain't gonna stop nothing.
Yeah. Can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, so I'm gonna try to baby oil it, but I might just get done raw. I don't know. It's gonna be bad. It's probably gonna
I
be
don't think
bad, but
life's
we'll
gonna
see.
be that merciful.
I don't think it's gonna tear me a new one. I got a
Yeah.
feeling.
Yeah.
But we're gonna see. I'm kind of looking forward to it. It's a new era. It's going to be a new transition, a new part of my life, and we'll see how things go. We're gonna see.
That's
It-
all you can do.
as viewers, as people who may care about me, if I disappear for a long stretch of time from the channel, I will promise. I promise to check in occasionally. If I fail to check in occasionally, something bad happened. Okay. I mean, I'm not saying that to worry you. I'm just
Who
letting y'all know. I'm
says
not saying that to worry
that
you.
with a
I'm just saying.
smile on their face?
No,
You
no. I
are
mean, because
sick.
I'm just saying, like, I know I have a smile on my face, but it's like nervous laughter. Like,
It's like
life is life is
you're
life is
like
turning
right
into
now.
shit.
You're just
Yeah,
waiting
I'm
for
there.
that person on the plane. It's always like when it's really bad
Yeah.
turbulence. That one person is like,
Hmm.
"We're all gonna die." Like you're just waiting for
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
moment.
That's yeah. I'm the person that's laughing at that moment.
Yeah,
Like, doesn't this remind you of a merry-go-round or something? Like, I'm the person that's making something. It's totally nonsensical. That's where my brain's at.
you
I'm having
Uzumaki. You in the spiral.
I'm in the spiral, and
You deep.
I'm having time lapse. I'm having memory lapses.
Yeah,
It's all of the things.
yeah.
I'm at full panic mode. Mind is not working properly. Yesterday I couldn't even articulate my thoughts in the beginning because I was brain fog. I've been uh
You know, some people may say you're demonically possessed.
I mean, I could be. I could be. Who knows? I don't know. I wouldn't know. How would I know?
I think you
How
need
would
an
I know if the
exorcism
me that I think is me
because
or
you missing time.
Melchizedek? How
I
would I
don't think
know?
it's Melchizedek. I think it's
I
probably
just
just like
I just heard that name before. I don't even know if that's a demon.
he's
I
a
don't even know if
priest.
that's a demon. What's up, Mister? He said
Yeah, I think he took your credit card. No.
I would have taken your credit card, but I didn't. And if I'll tell you what to do. Look on your credit card, and if you see charges for like Raising Cane's or pizza,
I
it
knew
was there.
Raising Cane's. I knew it. I don't even know how I knew that.
Hmm.
But I just
Yeah,
felt it in my soul. You're definitely
yeah.
possessed because I tapped
Okay,
in.
because your
I
demon
tapped
knew
in
they were
right there.
talking to each other.
I
Yeah,
tapped
yeah,
in right there. I don't even know
yeah,
how. So you definitely
yeah.
possessed. Rip.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, hey, listen, I'm down. I've been invaded. My life is over. I give myself over to the entity. Take it.
Don't say
Pause.
that. you're
So
gonna
listen.
we're gonna have to draw a magic circle around you at the house.
No, I'm okay. I'm okay.
We're gonna
I
expel the
want to.
demon from
I
you.
want to experience something different. Like
Oh, it's gonna be different.
I have lived this entire life one way, and I see what it wrought. So now I'm going to live a different way and see what happens. Like, it may
I
be
love it.
terrible, maybe the worst thing that happens in my life, but it may be the best thing that happens in my. I don't
Some of
know.
the worst things turn into the
Yeah,
best things.
we'll see. We'll see. So
Okay.
yeah, that's where we are. But as far as the viewers, I appreciate you for being here. We're going to be talking about consumerism in an abstract way. We're going to be having a more abstract conversation about consumerism and applying it outside of just spending money. It's going to be things like spending, how you spend your time, how you spend your attention, how you spend your energy. It's
Consuming
going to
people.
consuming people. Mr. He said had a comment, and I put like we talked about I'm about to say mythology, monogamy. We talked about
Oh yeah,
monogamy is
monogamy.
a myth. We talked about monogamy yesterday, and he had a comment about you play with one toy and then you put it away, and I'm like, no, but
Yeah.
people are hoarding, like WHORE, hoarding. People are hoarding, like people are collecting other people too. So like we're hoarding a lot, not just possessions. I know people. I'm not the only person that had. I don't even know when I ordered this thing. I've just got packages. I've just got stuff I never opened, never used. Like I just found this, and I'm like, what is this? And I opened it. And I'm like, oh, I remember thinking about this like a year ago. I just ordered it, and it's here. And it was when I'm cleaning up
Impulsivity.
stuff. Yeah, and we're just collecting stuff. We're collecting people. We're collecting concepts. How many of us have just been like steadily ingesting like YouTube videos where you've heard
Hmm.
all of these thoughts and ideas, but you've never put them anywhere or like coalesced them into a cohesive thought train. It's just we're hoarders, and that's just what it is. So I think that's leading to spiraling. So what I did, I have a thought. I had a thought. I don't have it now. It's gone. The entity is taken over. But when I had the thought, I compiled a list of clips, not a list, but I piled about 5 or 6 clips in sequence to illustrate the thought. I don't have the thought anymore. The entity
He's
has it.
too far in
Okay.
the spiral.
I'm too far into the spiral, but I still have the clips. The clips are in my notes. So I'm going to play the clips and see if it brings back the thoughts that I had when I had the clips. Okay. So bear with me, y'all. It might go crazy. This might be incoherent. This is me finding something that it was just days ago when I put this stuff in my notes. Just
It
days
was
ago.
like actually like yesterday.
It wasn't yesterday when I put these together. It was like 2 days ago. But it
Okay, it was
feels
two
like a
days
week.
ago. It was
But I was
two
getting ready
days
to say a
ago.
week, so I'm still
Okay.
off. I'm still off. I
Yeah.
promise you. So
It's
2 days
good.
ago, I put these clips in order in the sequence of the thought that I had. I don't remember the thought at all, completely gone. So I do have some questions or topics that me and Bree are going to come back to, but we're going to definitely play this. Did Quantum come in here? What's up,
Yeah.
Quantum? Didn't even see you. What's up?
I'm
What's up,
having memory gaps. Oh, I'm always in chaos. Don't worry about me.
man?
I'm
Listen,
a timeless being. I identify as timeless being.
to answer the question. Dang, what was the question?
My pronouns are where, when, and why.
What role do you play? Okay, the main role. Okay, I'm with you. The thumbnail. Got you. I'm with you. Yeah, boy, it's crazy. Turning into Split. Bree, he's having memory gaps. He is bad. I promise you, it's weird.
You're
I said it's
possessed.
bad, but it could be bad. Honestly, it might subside once I get to a more stable situation.
Yeah, you're
But
just you're
in the
just
meantime,
dissociating to avoid
yeah,
reality. That's why you
that's
don't remember
probably it.
time. Yeah. You just
Yeah,
don't even realize you're doing it.
yeah, that's probably it. That's probably. I promise you, time has no meaning here.
Welcome to my world. It's nice. We have
Hey,
snacks if you
I
could
don't
get to
like
them.
it. I don't like. I don't like
No
it.
one ever
I don't
likes
like
it.
it. I don't like it.
No one ever likes it. But here you
I honestly
are.
feel like yesterday was a few hours ago. Like Yesterday was a few hours ago. Last week was just yesterday. Like things feel like everything's
Well, you know
close,
what to do to
but
ground yourself.
everything feels far away too. What do I need? What do I have to do to ground myself?
You know how to
I actually
ground
don't.
yourself.
No, those things don't work. Like they do bring you into your body. I don't
Yeah,
want
for
to
a
be in my
second.
body.
Yeah,
I don't want to be in my body.
clearly that's okay. So you just not gonna have no time. So okay. Anyway, we can move on. You don't want to be there. That's fine. You know how to do it when you need to come back. You don't want to be in it. So that's fine. You just stay out of it. But
Okay,
yeah,
okay. I'm a. It's going to work out one way or the other. Like works
you'll
out for
be
the best,
forced
works out for
into
the
it.
worst.
Yeah.
But it's going to work out one way or the other. But I'm gonna play this first clip and see if it helps. This is where I feel like we start with the spiral. We start here, whatever that means. We got True. Hey, it's gonna be me and Bree and possibly Yellow Man. But appreciate you for stopping by,
He
bro.
possessed, so
Appreciate you.
you don't want to be. He's a demon.
Yeah, we got a specific thing. Dissociation. Let's go.
Yeah, he
Appreciate
dissociated.
it.
He don't even know it.
Now this first thing has to do with suffering. This is where the spiral starts. This is where the spiral starts. Let me put this. It's not funny. It's not funny.
I'm sorry. I'm a chaotic
Wow, and
person.
it's spiraling. Why does it start off spiraling?
Calm down. It's okay.
But it's only 27 seconds. Maybe. 27 seconds might feel like 27 minutes.
Dissociation,
We
association.
cannot be saved from suffering.
Okay, let's go.
That's not how it works. In fact, as Christians, we kind of recognize that if we're told to follow me, we know where following me leads. Right? We cannot be saved from suffering. We're choosing to enter into that reality. That's the reality we're entering into.
Yeah.
But one of the aspects of suffering is that it's not it's not a bug. The problem of suffering is not the problem. The problem maybe is meaningless suffering or suffering we don't actually put it to proper use. That's a problem.
Okay. So that was the first clip. And I feel like that's where we start. That's where this all begins. Meaningless suffering. That's why I feel like the
Meaningless. Okay.
life starts to spiral. And I feel like that with a lot of people, when I hear people talk about what's going on in their lives, a
Mhm.
lot of us could deal with the things that are going on if there was meaning to it. Like if I was dealing with my landlord and there was a reason for them to do the things they did, if there was a reason why I was having the rent raised 52%, or if I'm my job, there's a reason that I was getting laid off other than they wanted to increase corporate profits this quarter. Like if there was actual meaningful reason for the suffering that people are enduring, I think
Mhm.
we could live with it. Like we have to get laid off because it's going to keep us from having to fire everybody and everybody loses their job because the company's almost underwater. But you know what I'm saying? If we don't find a way to increase, like it's that kind of thing. Like if there was a meaning and people could understand it, I think we could deal with the suffering that a lot of people are dealing with. Relationships. A lot of people are like, why did you do this? Like you didn't have to do that. Yellow was talking about the lines of communication are always open, but people still will go behind people's back. People still will be insidious. People will still be manipulative, even when it's unnecessary. And I think when we suffer like that, it's hard, it's really difficult to continue to have the motivation to do the daily needs of life. It's hard to want to show up to work on time. It's hard to want to show up as a full partner in a relationship. It's hard when a lot of the suffering is meaningless and brought upon by somebody's selfishness or somebody's chaos or just something random and not a random happenstance of life, something that somebody created. I think it's hard. But what do you think about that?
I'm listening to it and suffering without meaning, because like my understanding for meaning is like, what do you do with
Agree.
that energy? How do you transmute your suffering into something of use to you? Because there's just a lot of
Mm-hmm.
things in life that I feel like you'll never have insight on. Like you'll never have insight for some of the things you go through. And there's always going to be the aspect, but whether something has meaning or not, I think I look at it more from a empowered state of like, it's up to me to find the meaning for
Okay.
myself, not always insight, because you can never really know the mind of someone else ever.
Okay. But there is the mind that they share with you, right? There
Who what
is the piece of themselves that they share with you. So if you said somebody else, there's some things
Yeah.
that you can't control. Like somebody develops cancer, can't control that. You can't find meaning in that. You could try to, I mean, but that's a stretch. Like, well, I'm being tested. I mean, you could do that, but I'm talking
Yeah.
about stuff that's more controllable. Like the spouse cheated. Like,
Yeah, no, I'm talking about that too. Like you can never
okay,
look. I've been married and I've had my
hmm,
spouse tell me verbatim, "You don't have a right to my thoughts,
right,
emotions." True, very
yeah,
true. In that
yeah,
way, you can never. That's what I mean. Like you can never really have insight. And even if somebody said they were giving you insight, it's always going to come down to do you even believe them, right? So I mean,
hmm,
that's what I mean in the sense of like you can never really know. Like you can never
yeah,
really have that level of insight. I think to that we're talking about when it comes to other people and their actions and how the world interacts with you sometimes.
yeah. But even still, you have to find meaning there. Like, why am I putting up with this uncertainty and this ambiguity? Like, a
Yeah,
lot of times, people struggle with that ambiguity of not knowing.
I
Trust,
do agree with that.
trust issues are deep in relationships. I was listening to something earlier, and they said like a lot of times people have like divorce because of infidelity or money issues, but a lot of times more so deeper than that, it was before the infidelity or the money issues was the
Hmm.
communication about it. Like the
Right,
person did not share, like, okay, you're not entitled to my mind, but you do owe me some level of transparency because we made an agreement to be in a
right,
relationship. Like
right,
you owe me some level of honesty. Like that's what's going on in your mind, what's going on in your life, because I can't be in your brain. You have to,
right,
because of the agreement we decided upon, share some of this stuff to me. So
right,
if they're not going to have access to that, then what's the meaning of the relationship?
right.
You're denying me the relationship and telling me we have one.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on like what the mission statement of being in a relationship is
Yeah,
for a person.
and that'll be the
Um,
meaning.
I think yeah, like so the meaning, but there's a lot of meaning outside of that you can glean for someone. It's just gonna depend
Hmm.
on the person. But that's why I mean it's really up to you to for you to make meaning, to find meaning in the things you participate in. That's kind of
Hmm.
how I look at it. Like it's up to me to find meaning for the things I'm participating in, and if I don't find a meaning to it through the suffering, then you know, then why am I doing it? So I don't disagree with it, but I do think the
Yeah,
meaning comes less in knowing the intents of the others around me, and then expecting the suffering, which some of that is the suffering
hmm,
of being with someone, never having complete access to them, being with someone and never really fully being able to be in their mind or like having that level of connection
yeah.
you want. That I would file that under the suffering, right? So then I have to
Okay.
find meaning in that. Like, what is that trying to show me about myself? And so, like I always say, my favorite thing to make people do is the man in the corner module on character AI, because the point of that module is to show you how you respond to unknowns, right?
Hmm. Yeah,
And so that's kind of how I work through that suffering of never knowing all the things
yeah.
I want to know.
And there's definitely different levels of suffering within a
Right.
relationship. I'm totally with you there. And again, I studied a little bit of the Buddhism, so I get suffering as a part of life, but a lot of times that suffering comes from an expectation, and the
Yeah.
disappointment comes from having the expectation not met. So
I would
I
think that's most suffering. I feel like honestly,
yeah,
my own experience.
attachment,
Yeah,
yeah,
like suffering comes.
attachment and expectation are the
Yeah,
cause of most suffering.
dealing with other humans causes suffering. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
More so than just like those crazy. Like you talking about that crazy stuff, like that
hmm,
random stuff. That suffering that most people just know. Like, oh shit, that's just fucked up. Like
yeah,
outside of that, I feel like
yeah.
80% of suffering is just the work living with other people and trying to figure that out.
Yeah, for sure. I just think though that sometimes in our selfishness or our fear or our whatever it is, we have things that are barriers to prevent us from suffering that could be easily mitigated, like the
Hmm.
communication. Like, okay, I'm going to make more of an effort to communicate, or I'm going to make more of an effort to, kind of like even before this stream, like I said it for a certain time. You're like, okay, you communicated such and such and such and such. Like, okay, I'm going to be about this much later
I
because
got
of
so
this.
good. I be trying because
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but that's dope. Like that's communication, and it keeps me from sitting there wondering, like, okay, where are they at? It's time to start. Like, so then I'm in anxiety. I'm suffering because I set a stream for this time. Nobody's here but me. I'm expecting you, and then I'm disappointed because you didn't even tell me you weren't coming. Like that. Those are things that people can do to mitigate suffering in another person and even themselves. Because then I'm going to be like, okay, because you're like, don't cancel the stream. But then I would cancel the stream, and then you're suffering because you wanted to do the stream. So I'm saying, so we have a part that we play, and a lot of times communication is where stuff breaks down. communication, and sometimes even unrealistic expectations.
Shit. Sorry.
No, you good, you good. I
I'm
do
just saying
have
they're
this
unrealistic.
next clip I want to play. I think because of the meaningless suffering that a lot of people deal with, Bree is a leader in communication. Teach them, Bree. Absolutely.
Mind diddling. It's my specialty.
I would say though, on the suffering though, it's really hard to find meaning when you know people are doing things that they don't have to do. Like when you know people are withholding communication,
Right.
when you know things like that, when you know they're intentionally inflicting a behavior on you that's unnecessary, like they're lying to you, it's really hard to find meaning in that. So I
Mm,
think, like you said, you have to find some other meaning that
yeah.
can either get you around that or to get you away from that.
Yeah. You got to transmute it.
Yeah.
Suffering.
Some people just want to watch Bree suffer. I do. I do.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm down with
Yeah.
that.
I'm a hater. I'm a hater. All right. So this next clip, I think this is how what happens when we are meaninglessly suffering. Meaninglessly suffering leads us here.
In that pattern of desire, in that pattern of trying to be more powerful, to be more vain, to be more attractive, to attract more attention, all of that will lead us against each other. And so that is where the truth of those horrible patterns start to manifest themselves. And it means that people start to fight and they self-destroy ultimately. And so you could think of it, like as someone who starts to take heroin, and they take heroin, and then at some point you could say, the judgment of God is on that person, but it's actually also just the consequences of them taking heroin. That is the truth of that pattern of taking heroin, is that it's not sustainable. If you do it constantly, then at some point it starts to break apart, and you start to self-destroy, and that appears as the judgment of God.
Now, I wanted to bring that in because I do feel like, absent the judgment of God thing, I do feel like a lot of times people start engaging in patterns that have very predictable outcomes, but we're negligent or blind to them. So, like because of the meaningless suffering. So, my job, I don't like my job. My boss is being an ass, like complete ass for whatever reason. So then I start drinking after work. I start drinking after work. And of course, for me, drinking means I'm going to drink to excess because I know my nature. I'm going to drink to excess, which then leads me to have a poor night's sleep, which then leads me to probably showing up late or poor performance, which then leads my boss to responding to that with being more of an ass. So sometimes when we're suffering, we end up engaging in behaviors and activities that start a pattern, a spiral, where we end up playing a part in our own misery. But what do you think about what Jonathan Peugeot said?
I do agree with that. I think people have always had a hard time with, like, especially more Christians, of like the devil's busy versus like
Oh my God.
you are playing into it. And I notice it's like a blind spot. It's almost like a mental trick, you know?
Hmm.
It's like a mental checks and balance to make us need other people who we feel like cause the suffering. So then it's like
Yeah.
you actually need other people to help you see yourself. But then like the
Hmm.
help engaging with the other people is causing the suffering that's making you do the thing that's making you feel like suffer more. So then you don't want to trust the people that can give you insight into yourself. So it's like it's almost like a trap a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get stuck into a feedback loop. It's a bad
Yeah.
pattern, and it
You
happens all the
need other
time.
people to help you with a reality check, which would
Yeah.
help you see yourself to actually break the pattern of the suffering. But if
Hmm.
you struggle with other people being the source of what you feel like is your suffering, then how do you trust the feedback of other people? So it's really hard.
Yeah. Nah, it's totally. Once you don't trust the people around you to give you feedback, useful feedback or positive feedback, man, I mean, then you're stuck on your own. Like I love this part about the Bible, but I hate the way it gets applied. Like, lead not into your own understanding. Like, you can't trust your own mind when you're in an emotional space, when you're in an emotional state. Your mind will tell you things that are not in line with the truth. So you need people that are clear of the feeling that you're being possessed by. You need to be clear of that for yourself to have a clear view. And sometimes you need to rely on other people to get you there or to give you that feedback that you can't get to yourself. And it's really, once you get to the place where you don't trust anybody, when you don't have anybody in your corner, I ain't got no team. Once you get to that point, man, you're kind of stuck. because you're only going to listen to yourself, but yourself is jaded or yourself is bitter. Yourself might be resentful by that time. By the time you have nobody left, you probably are out of touch with reality. So it gets hard. It is definitely difficult. I don't even know what would you suggest people do though once you get to that place, because I'm not there, but I'm close. I'm getting close to the place where my path has led me differently from the people in my life. Like my path is
Yeah.
whatever my where I am is just different. We're just lined up different. What I wanted from my life, they couldn't stomach it.
Yeah.
Whatever it just didn't work out. So I'm running out of
Mm,
people. My
yeah.
forever people. I called them my forever people. I thought they were forever people, but forever was yesterday. You know what I'm saying? Like forever ended
Yeah.
before I died. So when you start losing those people, the people that you thought you could count on, what would you suggest in that moment? Like, because there's a lot of people that say I don't have anybody. I don't have anybody to talk. I keep hearing this thing
Yeah.
about isolation. I don't have my
Yeah.
family around. I don't have a village. Once you get to that point, and it seems to be common now, what would you suggest?
You gotta either revisit that you become the villain, right? Because I think we looked up
Mhm.
the etymology of like the lowest person
Yeah,
becomes the villain of the village.
yeah,
So
because it was
it's
about
like,
farming back then.
yeah, so it's like you, all of those people. I mean, you could say go off and build another village, but I would say um, that it's worth revisiting. Not necessarily the relationship, but if there's people who you had around you for a long time, and they've all fallen off, yes, it
Hmm.
could. Yes, it's more than likely your change. I think seeing that is clear, but I always say you weigh it. Like, is this change in me that is causing all this friction one that is ultimately beneficial to me? Because I think along with suffering comes sacrifice.
Hmm.
And of course, when you're running upon new ideas and all kind of things, like you said, taking out the consumerist of information and things, you may haphazardly apply things that aren't beneficial to you. So
Hmm.
it could be worth reevaluating, like what has changed in me that now makes this intolerable. Is it just like an awareness of it that now I don't really know how to process and deal with people with that?
Hmm.
Or is it like I'm really trying to activate this life that they are actually in opposition to? Like, I think you really have to get clear about what new value set is it that's making you unable to work with them, because you can look back on something you built, because this is like,
Oh yeah,
your people, you built this too, you had a hand in it. So
yeah.
to throw away the whole structure is like, oh, this is no good because I was no good or something like that. I don't know if
Hmm.
that's useful. I
Yeah.
think anything you had a hand in building had some functionality, and even though you're a new self, there's a self that remains, that there's more than likely some benefit to that old relationship that you are just not able to see in the new state.
Oh
So
yeah.
that would be the
No,
first state. There you're gonna have to maybe build a new village,
hmm
but at the same time, I think the old village has some answers.
No, I definitely agree with that. If you're ready for them, yeah, you do have to. That's the thing a lot of people do. Because of our social need, we kind of rush into new dynamics, even when we're not emotionally or psychologically ready to deal with them. Because sometimes we are wounded. Sometimes we are hurt by the loss. We don't grieve. We don't take the time to grieve things that we've lost, people that
Yeah,
we've lost, relationships. So I absolutely agree with that. And when
or
you
or
have to be open,
or are they even really lost?
oh yeah, I get you.
Yeah, like sometimes, I think a lot of society now is just like, fuck it, I'll do my own thing, go my own
Yep,
way, clear my own
yep.
path. And that idea, like, while it sounds very self-empowering of like, I'm gonna be me, I'm gonna do things my way, if people to
Hmm.
serve myself, like, that's fine, but you're gonna find it hard to coexist with anybody for extended periods of time.
Yeah.
So like, if you don't figure out the fault in yourself in that old falling
Hmm.
away, then you're more than likely going to just replicate it in a new way.
Oh yeah. No, that's absolutely true. Would you when you have to be open to new people? You would have to be.
Yeah.
You would absolutely have to be. And I do like this quantum. Christians do usually face that when they first say. Brian Yellow had a great conversation yesterday about when somebody adopts a new value set, how
Yeah.
it could change the diet because it changes all of a certain like a core values principle change that changes your relationship to everything else in your life. So I mean that can be really damaging
It's like an
and
earthquake.
shocking. Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes things will settle back out. Like sometimes
Hmm.
if you're patient with the people and yourself and realize what's happening, you can give
Yeah.
things room to shift around, and they may land where
Yeah.
they were.
I know for me, it's just one of those things. Like, two, one, I got an ego. Like people, that I don't flex it on people a lot, but I have one. Like it's there, and I think people forget about it because I don't flex it a lot. So I myself, I know you weren't talking to me. You were speaking in general, but I myself, those relationships are dead to me because of what I was communicated through me to me through their behavior. So I would suggest that to people too. Understand yourself enough to know, like those relationships may not be lost, but it may require more than you're willing to pay to salvage them. Like, like if you have a device like a TV that's got a cracked screen, you're like, well, I could just buy a new one for the price it would get me to repair that one. Like it's kind of that same principle applied to a person. Like there's some relationship that would just cost me too much to retrieve. It's like, and I get that, and it's ego, and I'm also willing to admit that. So that's a flaw, possibly, but their behavior for me communicated that they did not value me the way I value myself, and I can't pay that price anymore. But that's a me thing. I
Right.
wouldn't say everybody should apply that equally.
And
That was
yeah, it's
yourself.
up to each person to make the assessment of the relationship
Yeah,
and decide if it's one you want to go back for or not. And
yeah,
some of them are going to just be like, you
yeah,
know what? I think that
yeah.
it was for a time, and now that time is gone. I've had a lot of friendships end. Like,
Hmm.
had some that like maybe they were like, maybe we should revisit friendship, and I was kind of like, nah, I'm kind of good
Yeah,
on that actually.
yeah,
It just doesn't fit with my life now. So
yeah,
you know, some ain't gonna get picked up.
yeah, for sure. I did lose like two amazing people. Love them to death. Still love them to this day. Ain't even really. I'm not really pissed with them. I'm just pissed with the situation. There's a part of me that's angry, but it's like it's not at them. It's like I hate the fact that I lost them in my life, but I also hate what I found out about myself in the process. I hate that I wasn't as valuable to them as I thought I was. Like that hurt. And I'm
Yeah,
angry. I'm angry with that, but I'm not angry with them because I played up. Somehow I allowed that to persist. I allowed myself to be lesser, and I didn't know. It was never verbalized. Like, what? I really just don't care about you that much. I never heard that, so I'm part of me is angry. But on to the next piece. I do have once we would develop the bad patterns, and I would say the dynamic. When I say the dynamic, that's a bad pattern that I started to play into that allowed them to think that I had no value. So like that's my part. I accept that I paid a because I did. I live kind of humbly. I live. I don't want a lot. I don't aspire to a lot. I don't want to go on trips. I don't want a whole bunch of things. I don't want to be important to other. I don't want to be famous. Like so, a lot of people I had a hard time with they thought lesser because I did not have their same type of goals. So I was in a circle of people that want and aspire to things, but they couldn't understand like why don't you want this? So I've run into that too. So when I say the bad patterns, one of the bad patterns is because I didn't want and I hang around people that did want, it will make it always put me in a lesser position. Well, why don't you want to do this when we do? So I always end up playing in a less position, but I was okay. I didn't care about that dynamic, but obviously they did. I found that out. So after you develop a bad pattern, then we do this next piece here. And again, you don't have to pay attention to what's on the screen. Because he's having a whole religious conversation, but these principles are broadly applicable. So listen to what he's saying.
Prometheus's passions, because he brought down these patterns to heaven through a rebellion against heaven itself, that his passions will cycle and will constantly be brought back, then will be taken away, then will be brought back and will be taken away. And you can understand it as the cycle of any passion, of any desires, of any time that you act in desire and you end up in this cycle where you're never really satisfied and you keep turning in a circle and in a circle. Prometheus's passion.
So that part, I did like that part because once you develop the pattern, you will keep cycling if you're not fulfilled. You're going to
yeah,
keep revisiting the thing. I know we talked about it with the development stages in an adult. If you
yeah.
miss something in your development stages, you'll keep trying to go back and reclaim it. Your adolescence, your loss of youth, whatever it is. You'll like we talk about Tia a lot. Her trying to reclaim the dating phase that she has skipped.
Right.
Now she's trying to go back for it. People will cycle back to things as if they still have the desire.
Pattern
As
breaking
long as that
is
desire exists.
pattern breaking is suffering.
Mhm.
So I think that's part of the other thing. Like
Yeah,
people's aversion to suffering or feeling like suffering doesn't have to happen or shouldn't happen. Pattern
yeah,
breaking, I'm like I would say I enjoy pattern breaking. Something's wrong with
Hmm.
me, maybe. I'm just something's wrong with me. But
Let's
I
go.
enjoy that, like, because I see them. I like, you know, I've had the opportunity, I guess, to break patterns in myself or whatever, and I don't know. I've just never felt. It's always been terrible.
Yeah.
Even if you like, I want to do this, I want this more than anything. Like, it's
Hmm.
terrible. It's never great. So I think pattern disruption. I think pattern disruption is hard because a lot of people are in patterns from desire instead of having a
Hmm.
different reason for going into a loop. The desire loop is like a black hole, so it's never going to be done. So
Hmm.
it's hard to really disrupt that because you have to die to self or sacrifice self.
Yeah.
And that's also not a belief that's really popular right now in culture. It's really self serving.
And that desire thing. So like a lot of times we use the word desire, we're thinking about like sexual or sensual, something of the sense. Like I desire food, I desire a relationship, um, like sex, a relationship. But take that out of sex though. Sometimes I would say a lot of times people run into this with like the mother wound or absent father. A lot of times there's a desire there that we don't speak to. We don't put the desire word on it, but like I want a relationship with my mother. I want to make my father proud of me. Like there's some kind of distance there between you and the parental figure. And that desire, because it can never be fulfilled, maybe because the mother just can't love you the way you want, or the father just will never give you the esteem of being proud. Like whatever it is.
Yeah.
I know people have these father wounds,
Things you
mother
can never
wounds.
have. Right.
Yeah.
Wanting the thing you can never have. Right.
And you'll keep cycling back to trying to win their approval or win their love or earn it or buy it. And it's
Yeah.
really it's really hard to break that pattern.
The
Pattern
spiral.
disruption is, yeah,
Yep.
could be the breaking generational curse thing. Yeah, breaking
It's hard
patterns,
to
breaking
break. It's
cycles.
it's hard to break a pattern. I mean, it's just it's not
Yeah,
easy. It's
yeah,
it's into the unknown, which
yep,
a lot of people are in these patterns, honestly, because their fear of unknown is greater than their fear of knowing what's next.
yep,
So you can't break patterns if you want to know what's going to happen, if you want reassurances, if you want to know what's going to happen, what it's going to look like. You will never be able to break a pattern if you need those things because it's literally like it's counter to everything pattern breaking requires.
yeah. And I wanted to say what yellow problem with going back is if you don't do anything different or address the issue y'all fall out about, it ain't gonna work. It'll be another cycle. You'll run into the exact same problem with one person. My friend of 25 years. There was something a while back, and they just kept accusing me like of attacking them. But I never called them out of their name. I never said anything bad about them. But there was something about the way I communicate that they just felt like I was coming for them. I'm like, why would I? I don't have any malicious ill will toward you. But there was something. I can't. They perceived something, but I didn't have any intent. But it impacted them in some kind of way where they thought I was attacking them. We stopped talking for a minute, and then when they reached back out, we just resumed talking. We did not address whatever that thing was because they couldn't articulate it, and I couldn't observe it within myself because they were the one that observed. They said, "You're coming at me." They couldn't explain why they thought that. They felt it, so we never addressed it. We resumed like nothing had ever happened, and we landed at the exact same place. But about a year later, with them thinking I'm coming for them, and I'm like, I don't want to keep being accused of trying to hurt somebody who I call my family. Like you're close, you're like as far as like living people who are at the top of my forever list of people. They were like they were like number two, like number two. And that person thought my second favorite living person thought that I was trying to harm them. And I can't live with somebody who I say I love, thinking I'm constantly trying to harm them. That was hurtful. That was hurtful, which would be an indicator to break the pattern of return. Yeah, you gotta sometimes you gotta break that pattern. So I can't. When I say I go back, part of the ego thing is I can't go back into returning to a pattern that I know we can't resolve because they can't communicate what I'm doing to them, and I don't see it as me trying to harm them. Because again, I'm not being disrespectful. I'm not trying to accuse you of anything. I'm not trying to do this, do that, the other. And it's like so. Then my very being is somehow harmful
Triggering.
to you. Yeah. So then I have to remove myself because me hurting you is then going to harm me because you're my like you're one of my favorite people. So it's like it's crazy. Yeah. It is exhausting to constantly be accused, especially if you don't
It's
have any
hard to
malicious
be in
intent.
that loop. I've
Yeah.
had to learn to most of the time it's not because of me. Like it's not
Hmm.
because of me.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm not special enough to not be patterns is patterns. So
yeah.
like the power of pattern, the power of the spiral is like,
Hmm.
it's like to some degree I can't expect them to just change that. I think in the same conversation with Jonathan Pajot, they were
Hmm.
talking about the relationship has to build up what trust really is, and like
Yes.
trust and faith is like an active thing, but in relationships you do have to build up a capacity to be able to trust to the degree
Yep.
in which sometimes you're asking someone. So that was interesting. I thought that was a good idea, because sometimes people think that you're owed things that you're not. um Whether it's in time isn't always a builder of capacity either, and I think that's a problem a
Yeah.
lot of people have. Like
Yeah.
just being in someone's presence doesn't mean that y'all are actively building up the capacity to be able to have these deeper talks and these deeper things, like especially like because a lot of people are
That's tough.
avoidant of conflict. It's like if you're not actually spending that time with some learning how to have conflict and come back and still like each other or be respectful, or have conflict and go your separate ways and have that uncomfortable unknown space of like, oh, are they pissed at me? Is this it? Like, you know what I mean? Like that, when you have
Yeah.
one of those conversations, if you haven't made it through those things, that actually is what builds intimacy, I think, and trust. But if you're not doing that, you're not building a capacity in a relationship to even ask for some of the vulnerability we ask of people.
No, I agree with you, and that was a big thing. What I when I for me myself, I'm just sharing my part, just so I can like land it like with people that were listening to us. Both people that I talked to, I'm like, haven't we spent enough time together to have the equity that I have earned the benefit of the doubt? And like Bree said, some people you can spend all the time with them, but you don't develop any greater capacity to earn that type of respect or trust. And that blew my mind. Like that literally blew my like. What are the years for? What are what are all of the years and the conversation and the memories and experiences together worth if I don't get any more trust? And I had to accept like that's like a capacity thing on their side, but it blew my mind because it's like our experiences together open up all this much more grace for you. Why can't I get that in return? Why don't I get some of that same room? Why haven't I built any equity there?
Yeah.
But like Bree just said it,
Because depending on
like
the type personality type you're dealing with, that means nothing. If you're dealing with
yeah,
a people pleaser or an avoidant person, time is not a good measure
yeah,
of capacity to give you benefit of doubt or be vulnerable with you, because
man,
they're often operating in a system where they're protecting themselves so much because of somebody else, usually not even you, that if you're
mm-hmm,
not forcing issues with them, they're just issues that are just in the background running. So you're not actually building up any capacity. You're just building up, like you're just it's actually the opposite. The ram is
yeah, that's
just being
crazy,
taken up by issues that they want to address, and if you want to address it, it's like having 70 tabs open.
man.
And then when you're ready, like when something comes up and you're like, we should be able to talk about this, it's like 70 tabs and
Nope,
they can't
sorry,
process it.
can't
Yeah.
handle it.
So
Yeah,
yeah, time is not a good measure.
man,
I would say time and relationship titles like family or
yeah.
those are not good indicators of capacity to trust.
Yeah, I'm with you. I agree. And I'm glad. I'm actually glad you said that because it's like that was something that's one of the things internally I've been struggling with the most. Like I poured all this time and energy into these relationships just to at the end be like accused of stuff that I would never do to these people. Like, but
Mm-hmm.
you're right. You can't control like somebody else's capacity to trust and whatever it was. And I asked both of them like maybe you're just going through something that you're going through so much in life that you just didn't have room for me in that moment. I tried to address it like that, but they're like, nah. Now you accuse me of being crazy. I'm like, nah, that's not it. But it's cool.
70 tabs. They
Man,
cannot
listen.
do it. But I honestly think, I mean, not like once again, if you choose to walk away from the relationships, like you said, then that's fine because you
Yeah,
also
yeah,
have your own needs. But that walking away and coming back does do something for that capacity. That is one of the good ways. If people could
yeah,
be comfortable with conflict and have smaller ones, then that would be a more safe way, I think, to
yeah,
build that capacity. But because most people aren't veered towards that, it's like comfort, peace, and
yep.
more positive feelings. Most people aren't building that capacity, and by the time they're, it's like a blow up, or it's
Mm-hmm.
beyond being able to come back and make sense of it.
Yeah, you always end up running into a wall based on their program that they got running. That's tough. And relationships are really hard to manage, especially when you're not getting the clear communication of what it is. Like asking people what the problem is and they can't answer it. That's
Which
the worst.
I've come to
That's the
accept
worst.
that like that is the normal response.
Man, it's just a feeling. Like you have a
Yeah,
feeling that
like
I'm doing
most
this
people
to
aren't
you, but
like
no nothing behind it.
introspective. Yeah, most people aren't sitting around thinking about why they feel how they feel, and so
Hmm.
you got to be able. It's going to be a skill set for you to be able to work through that.
Yeah, that's facts. So after like you're living out the bad pattern, I think those bad patterns that you're living out, they cause this problem. Like this is kind of the Tia problem. But I'm gonna play this real quick.
What happens when your culture doesn't produce grown-ups? What happens? The only thing your culture produces is very bright adolescents. Well, then you're in real trouble because nobody actually has depth of maturity. Nobody actually has wisdom. Nobody actually has experience in complex reality. And what they do have is they do have, for example, the ability to formulate pithy phrases with incisive sarcasm, or to grab pieces of other people's work and assemble it in ways that are shiny and impressive. I actually called this simulated thinking in an essay I wrote many years ago.
Cool. So it you get end up with this kind of arrested adolescence. He called it like bright adolescence, or I can't remember that
Yeah,
last word he said. But you end up with that where people are functioning. They seem very adult like. They're very adult like in all of their capacities. But when it comes to the maturity, they just can't go in depth. And just again, when I use Tia Mowry as an example, we've been going through a couple of her things, but she talked about she didn't want to date a guy because he didn't know his love language. Because he said his love language was somebody clean sheets, which could have been flirtatious because, like Ane said, we're doing something that creates dirty sheets, or it's an act of service. Like somebody's just making sure that the bedding is changed because maybe it's something I hate doing. But because he didn't use words like acts of service, which is something that she got, like the ideas and stuff that she could regurgitate, like she didn't have the depth, maturity, and wisdom to understand that he was actually either flirting or explaining his love language with different words. And I think we have a lot of people that can't hear a concept if it's not in the way that they heard it, if it's not phrased the exact same way, if you don't use the same verbiage, because they're not having the depth of maturity to understand the principles and the foundational ideas behind it. And I think there's a lot of people, like you said, there's a lot of sarcasm and incisive nature, and they can repeat a lot of things and reformulate the catchphrases and the idioms and axioms. They can do all that, but they can't actually think through any of the problems. They can't actually dig through their feelings
they don't
about it.
master the concepts at all.
Yeah,
It's not a mastery of it. I
especially
think
at the
in
count.
that same little stretch, he had said something about like knowing if something is right. Like, how do you know something is right? I think he said something about like you have a rule about, well, you don't do this because it's bad, but that's not actually, and that's part of the adolescent kind of mindset of versus living
Hmm.
something out and knowing that, well, it has bad outcomes if I do it. And then you can engineer your life based off like actual, thinking through things through complex experience and stuff like that. So I think a lot of people are there where they kind of just do
Hmm.
things because somebody told them it's what they should do, and
Yep.
they don't actually like. We were talking about monogamy yesterday. Like people just don't have the depth of maturity required to work through the complexities of like even in having an integrated life with another human.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
All right.
that's something that I've noticed. It's gonna require, it's either you're either gonna have to have a higher level of thinking to be able to feel it out, to have this more progressive humanitarian angle of being in a relationship, or you're going to have to just exact a structure that someone else made that is like,
Yeah.
this is going to get the outcome we want, and but a lot of people are rejecting structure but have no maturity and wisdom enough to actually navigate the wilderness that
Yep.
they've entered into. So I think we're just in that kind of like, because he was using Bible stuff, like kind of like those
Hmm.
Hebrews who left Egypt and
Yeah.
like had no idea of how to
Yeah.
build a culture.
Yeah. So for myself, like not using Tia, for myself, I know I began this stream talking about my personal spiral. So that's kind of what I've kind of done. I'm at the point where emotionally I am tired of the structures that I've been existing in. So I'm throwing them away, knowing that structure is necessary. And I'm walking into the wilderness, and I'm like, okay, well, this is going to work. This will be fine. This is fine.
Um,
So we're going to see.
Okay.
I'm doing it, but again, that's why I call it self-sabotage. I
Yeah.
know conceptually, I know that walking into the wilderness with no plan, no structure, is you end up in the wilderness for 40 years when it should have been a
Going in
3-day trip.
circles. Right.
Exactly, going in circles. So I know,
They
I'm
literally went in
aware
circles.
that I'm spiraling. So I know that I'm spiraling, but I'm choosing to embrace the suck. I'm choosing to embrace it, and then I know where to. I have some safeguards, so to speak.
I'll be right
I
back.
have some safeguards so that I can latch onto structure when I feel the pull is getting too great. So Bree says she'll
Be
be
back.
right back. All right, do you think? Let's embrace the suck. So I'm gonna play this next video. It's about 1 minute long. Let me bring this in here. Boom. All right, cool.
And there's something so much more profound and deeper in complex reality and in relationship to the transcendent that's in communion, that this simulacrum that you produce.
Okay, real quick, my bad. What I was going to say was, after you have that, once you have that kind of like that the adolescence, once you get into that space where you're kind of like you're an immature adult, you can't handle the complex feelings and thoughts of others. You can't handle structure. You seek a safe space because of the lack of development. You strive to create a safe space, but that's what they're getting ready to talk to here. I just wanted to cue that up a little bit.
In complex reality and in relationship to the transcendent that's in communion, that this simulacrum that you produce called safe space is demonic. It's actually perfectly terrible, and it creates exactly the wrong result, unless, by the way, that's your intent. So
Yeah, because confession has a safety to it in the sense that you know that the priest is bound to secrecy and all of that, but it's not a safe space because he can kind of smack you around a little bit and say, and make you understand that it's a safe space, but it's a space that's geared towards transformation, not to coddle you and to make you feel like, although I had confessors once in a while that were too nice, where I was like, oh, it's okay, God loves you, and I'm like, I'm not sure I want to hear this. I need to be tightened a little bit so that I redirect my my aim, let's say. Yeah.
Safe? He's a lion. He's not safe. Good, yeah, but not safe.
And I think that's what a lot of people end up looking for. They end up looking for safety because they're immature. Like there's an immaturity to their emotional development. There's an immaturity to their mental development. So because they feel so inadequate within themselves, they seek safety as opposed to goodness, as opposed to that. So within the goodness, there'll be a type of safety, but goodness will also come with correction, will come with direction. There will be opposition, there will be challenge, there will be conflict in a good situation. But people are running away from that. Yeah. Not coddling or safe. Because you can't get the transformation if you're being coddled. You can't get the growth if you're being safe. You have to take some kind of risk. There will be some measure of like a child riding a bike. At some point, you have to take the training wheels off, and even on the training wheels, you can still fall off. So, to do things, to grow, to learn, there is some measure of risk that's going to be involved in it. There's going to be some measure of harm that can come to you. And the greater you want to grow, the more risk you're going to have to accept. But people in their immaturity, emotional immaturity, a lot of times are looking for emotional safety. I can never be threatened. You can't come at me. You can't challenge me. You can't question me. All of those things are problematic. And you'll run into those in all kinds of dynamics, all kinds of relationships. By choosing the path you're choosing to explore. Good for you. Okay, yeah, I'm choosing to walk a path, and I'm going to see where to go. But again, I have some safeguards, and I've got a backup. I've got backups to the backups. I'm planning as much as possible, but it's going to be interesting. It could be totally terrible. It could be absolutely fine. It could be really enjoyable. I don't know, but we'll see. Can't confirm. Yeah. So the safety thing, I think that's what a lot of people are looking for. Using the Tia example again, now that she's back dating, because me and Yella been over on Twitch showing some of the episodes, because YouTube won't allow us to show so much without getting the strikes. But she's back to dating, but she wants to be safe, so she's kind of hiding from it too. So she got divorced so she could date, but she's afraid to date. So like, what do you do with that? You just separate your family so that you can date because you never got to date, and you won't date because you're afraid. You're seeking a safe space. So it's problematic. Let me get the next video queued up because I did not get that set up. Da, 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 da. I got two more little clips here. This next one is about 38 seconds, looks like. see.
Yeah.
So, and this kind of what you're saying. If all you're doing is consuming YouTubes,
Hey, consuming YouTubes. I never heard it put like that. So, because we're staying in those safe spaces, we're not getting the requisite experience. We're not getting the experience we need by remaining in those safe spaces that we've cultivated simply because we could not handle the emotional complexity of dealing with other people. We could not handle it, the mental load of our lives, plus the other things that are going on or people are asking for. Because again, life is getting more complex. The economy, the economics, the politics of it all, it is getting more difficult. Our lives are becoming structured in a way where it's meant to stretch us thin. And then we're having people on top of that. So it is more complicated. We could dive into that one day or it's later on today. But because of that safe space that we kind of build around ourselves to avoid the conflict, to avoid the negative emotions, we end up with this here.
Yeah.
so, and this kind of what you're saying. If all you're doing is consuming YouTubes, what I'd like to say is that the point of every YouTube video consumed that is vaguely pointing you towards the truth is telling you to go outside and do something besides consume YouTube videos. Right? There's a terminal point where that's the only signal that's actually in all of them.
Yeah.
And remember, there's a discernment vector. Many of them are actually saying, no, keep watching YouTube videos.
Yeah.
That's diabolical. So don't do that. And everything that's not diabolical, what it's telling you is to go out and actually engage in complex life. And so, in some sense, the question is a little bit simple.
Yeah.
So, and this kind of what you're.
So we end up in that cycle. We've got the emotional development kind of stunted in a way, and we built safe spaces where we can hide from all of the turmoil. We can hide from the chaos. We can try to run from the spiral, so to speak. But we do so in consumption. We'll consume something that kind of sedates us. We'll consume tons of YouTube videos or tons of video games or tons of food. You know, we'll eat our feelings. We'll consume our feelings in whatever thing pacifies us. Shopping, might be sex. We'll consume our feelings in some mechanism that keeps us from engaging with the difficulties. So that's that next part. But I do want to answer. Look at this. Now she wasn't aware of the path. No, she wasn't. She wasn't aware how difficult it really was because dealing with other people is difficult. She should have learned that from a marriage. But again, some people cannot apply principles across spaces because of the lack of development. The development. How would you say she could fix that if both positions are strong? Could you reframe that? Because I'm assuming you're talking about Tia. And what do you mean by both positions? What do you mean by both positions? While you are typing that out for me, because we struggle to push ourselves away from the thing that's pacifying our feelings. We struggle. I do too. I'm not preaching down on anybody. I'm this person. It's hard to walk away from the thing that makes us feel comfortable when we're running away from conflict. But we you can't avoid the consequences. You cannot avoid the consequences. That's going to happen. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. You're going to feel some level of consequence. You're going to feel fear from one side or the other. Okay, she wants to date, but she's afraid. That's the thing. So this is what was it? Kevin Samuels. You got to pick your struggle, or somebody says pick your poison. You're going to be afraid either way. You're going to be afraid either way. So she was afraid of missing out on something, so she divorced her husband. She could do the thing that she was afraid of missing out on, but she's afraid to do it too. Then when she dates, she's afraid that she's going to miss her husband or she regrets her marriage. So she's a fearful mind. She has a fearful mind. She has a FOMO brain. She has a FOMO brain. That fear is going to ruin her life and everybody that is under her. So you have to choose to move against the fear at some point. Like, which one are you going to do? And even in spite of the feeling that you're going to miss out on something, I'm making an active choice to do this thing. And I'm going to stick with it because I know at this point, no matter what I do, I'm going to feel the fear. I'm going to feel the fear. So because I'm always going to feel the fear, I need to lean into my values, which is the value set that drives me. Which one is most important? To have an intact, wholesome family, or to date and have fun, because both of them I'm going to feel some level of fear about. If I'm married and have an intact family, I'm going to feel like I'm missing out. I'm going to fear that I'm missing out. But if I go dating, I'm going to fear that there's so many problem people out here, or I'm going to regret. So, which fear do you want? So both positions are strong. You're absolutely right, but you have to choose one. Or you can stay in a pattern of not doing anything and still fearing everything. So you're not dating and you're not married, but you're still in a state of fear. So now you have neither thing that you wanted and you're still afraid. And what use is that? You're not dating, not married, still fearful. That's absolutely wasted fear. That's wasted. Yeah, that's absolute waste. That's a waste of fear. Her fear is her block. She is holding herself back. She's the person. Divorcing due to FOMO, but a lot of people do. It's a lot of people that do that. Yeah. You got to get beyond the fear. Yeah. Double minded man is unstable in all of his ways. James 1 and 8. Yeah, buddy. All right. So I got one last one. Is this the right one? Hope this is the right one. I'm going to bring in this last clip. And again, don't pay attention to what's on the screen. Just listen to what they're saying.
Because you engage with that pattern, not through true knowledge, not through true kind of ascending knowledge where you encounter and embody and understand the pattern, but because you do it with desire, you don't understand the pattern you're invoking. And therefore, all the ramifications that you hadn't planned on start to play themselves out. And now you have no control over it. So you ask for something, and then all the side effects of what you asked for start to appear. That's of course the classic story of the genie. But then because you
So you bring about something in your life through a choice because of a desire. You desire something in your life and you make a decision based on that. That's going to set up a cascade of consequences. There's no way around that. So you have to be aware when you make before you make that decision based on a desire, what comes with this. So when she pulled the trigger on the divorce, she needed to have thought about, if I divorce, what if I don't find anybody? What if everybody I find is undesirable? Is this worth destroying a family for? Most people who are children of divorce suffer. Do I want to negatively impact my children this way? Am I so unhappy that it's worth all of these negative outcomes just to go to date? Now, if you left because you just could not feel like yourself in the marriage, I could more reasonably understand that. But you left for a hypothetical. You left for a possible. Like you thought you were going to run a Boston with nothing in your hand but a possible. Like I might have one book, but I'm gonna run a Boston. Like that's crazy. I know that was like a spades thing. If you don't play spades, that won't make any sense to you. Let me think of something else that's more applicable. Like I don't even know. I can't even analogize to anything. But it's crazy to only have a possible in your hand. Only a possible. I'm 40. I'm still attractive and I already have somebody that loves me, I've already built a family with them, I'm going to walk away from that just for the potential of love, which is the thing that you already had and you walked away from for a potential. To me, that doesn't make sense. But on the show, you get to watch her walk through all the subsequent consequences that she wasn't prepared for. The fear, the bad dating experiences, the crying and the breakdowns because she's like it's crazy watching. It's interesting and instructive to watch somebody go through this process of a pattern that they can't recognize. Like dude said, you won't recognize it because you're so desire focused. You're not seeing the pattern that you're living out, and it's difficult. But it does turn you into a walking oxymoron. It turns you into somebody that says a lot of hypocritical things, a lot of things that contradict themselves because you're walking from desire, but then you also have this value set. Like I want a family, I want an intact, loving family, but you walked away from that. So Quantum, her show is a hot mess. Like she should have taken some time to grieve the loss of her marriage before she started even doing the show. It's a train wreck, but it's instructive. If anybody wants to see like what I'm talking about today, the spiral of life, Go watch Tia Mowry's My Next Chapter. It's on WeTV. There's a couple free episodes on YouTube. Watch it, and you'll see somebody going through the spiral of emotions and chaos and a desire that's running them back into the cycle and negative patterns. You'll see it recurring. You'll be able to see this principle walked out. Yeah, buddy.
All right, bet.
She do seem slow. Okay. So, welcome back, Brie. I am going to let you hear this little clip again. I'm gonna run this clip again.
You engage with that pattern not through true knowledge, not through true kind of ascending knowledge where you encounter and embody and understand the pattern, but because you do it with desire, you don't understand the pattern you're invoking. And therefore all the ramifications that you hadn't planned on start to play themselves out. And now you have no control over it. So you ask for something, and then all the side effects of what you asked for start to appear. That's of course the classic story of the genie. But then because you
All right.
engage with that,
Boom. So that was the last clip. But what did you think about what he just said?
Oh, okay, yeah. And I did watch that video. So, yeah, I think it's true. I think everything has inherent like negative side effects
Mm-hmm.
because nothing's all good and nothing's all evil. So, yeah. I think that some stuff you just don't know until you walk it out. Like I think that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of that concept of him saying like if you don't have people to tell you or someone who's done it that you would trust and believe that you can listen to and stuff, like then you're just gonna have to, like that leaving the structure to go do it in the wilderness kind of mentality. You're gonna get a
Yeah.
lot of that, which is like you just having to walk out things and then realize some of the side effects of them. So unless you have a village or people that you trust enough to like help you and impart wisdom on you, you're gonna have to do a lot of that. And so unfortunately you're gonna find yourself in a lot of bad deals. Or what you gonna perceive as bad deals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times what we desire is hidden behind something. So I would say like some things are a proxy, and it's hard for people to recognize that some things are a symbol of what you actually desire.
Right.
Um, Money, sex, power, fame. It's actually not that that you desire. It's what you think that is going to provide for you. So
Hmm.
sometimes you'll get that thing, that proxy, and realize it didn't provide it. So like you'll get free, you'll get divorced so that you can date, and you realize is not going to make you happy. Dating is not validating you in the way you thought it would. Because you know what comes with dating? Rejection. Like that's a part of it. So if you wanted attention, that rejection overrides that attention. Like, come on, it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah. And that's why I was like, I think in a lot of times it was like wanting that more than likely in her situation, just because she is dating,
Hmm.
like it more than likely was just something about their ability to relate to each other that she felt like,
Hmm.
he just
Yeah.
couldn't meet her where she wanted. So she's looking for someone
Yep.
else who can do that.
And
But
she,
it's then there along with that, she probably can find it. I think you can. Like you can find a man
yeah,
who's less traditional and maybe
absolutely.
will be willing to be open with you that way. But there's also gonna be there's gonna be a dynamic built off of that archetype
Yep.
that
Yep.
that's also gonna have its downside. So it's just like
Yep.
but
It's
you've been
it.
dealing with a certain type of man for so long that you can't even play it out in your mind the way you think you can
Hmm.
about how it's gonna look to be with someone like that.
Yep. Absolutely true. I like what Thomas Sowell said. Like, it's people think that there's solutions, but a lot of times it's just a trade off.
Yeah.
There aren't really a lot of solutions. It's just you're trading this set of problems for the set of problems that come with this other thing. And
Yeah.
that may actually work out, but a lot of people aren't cognizant. They're not aware of that fact. So yeah, I'm going to leave this life, like even like myself in my spiral. I'm going to leave the kind of stable setup I'm in, and I'm
Right.
going to walk into a more unstructured one. I'm
Right.
just changing set of problems. It's not a solution. Yes, I'm getting out of the structure that's been plaguing me. It may be horrible for me, or I may find out that I thrive better in that little bit less structure. So
Yeah.
we'll find out.
And you
Sometimes
may
you got to
you
walk
may
that
come
out.
back and revisit the structure with just a new set of eyes and new appreciation
Absolutely,
that you can't have when
absolutely,
you've been in it so long and don't
yeah.
even remember really entering into it.
But but the foolishness is thinking that that other path is a solution to everything that ails
Right.
me. My
Right.
life will be great if, bam.
Because
That's
you
a
just
lie.
basically like Corey, but more emotionally available. It's going to be my perfect thing. But it's like, well, if he's more emotionally available, he's probably not going to be Corey. So then Not
Right.
only is that a different archetype, but you also don't have the skills of being with that type of person. You have a skill set catered to a certain type of man for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
you don't have the skill set probably needed to deal with that type of person you're looking for either. So then why would you
Mm-hmm.
think that when you're dating him, he's gonna feel good to you? Like that's the other
Yep.
thing that's like that's how people get stuck in patterns because they think it's like the Dunning Kruger. Like you think you're equipped to recognize that man, but that man is probably gonna be icky to you
Yep.
because you have a skill set for a Corey. Like
Yep.
you only know a Corey for 20 years and you've only had to deal with a Corey, so your skill set is completely catered to that one type.
Mm-hmm. So you're gonna have to make some concessions for real. So I've got some what I did with the show Uzumaki. The show is kind of about the spiral. So I got the spiral in the in the show word. The spiral, because a lot of this is about life spiraling. Life spiraling. So I blended consumerism with Uzumaki, the themes of Uzumaki. So what it said was these are the themes of the spiral of Uzumaki. So obsession and madness. So bringing consumerism into it, just like the characters in Uzumaki, they're obsessed with spirals. Consumer culture encourages an obsession with material goods and status symbols. People fixate on acquiring more, believing it will bring satisfaction or fulfillment. But it often leads to an endless cycle of desire, debt, and dissatisfaction. The madness lies in how consumerism warps our priorities, making us irrational in our pursuit of the next purchase, leading to self-destructive behaviors like overwork and overconsumption. So, do you see some parallels with obsession and madness in Uzumaki and the way we kind of live our lives?
Yeah. I think that desire and chasing that is, yeah, it is a trap. It's
It's a
kind of a
trap.
trap. You have to have a balance. Like desire in any form, like no, it's just not good. I don't know if I'm trying to think. The reason I'm pausing, I'm like, it's structured to its highest potential good, but to even
I
structure
would
it
say that's
correctly,
to
even
its highest
structure.
potential be stifling.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but even because structure is built up from men and men are driven by desires, usually structures are to the end of a desire of some sort. So
That's fair.
I think that's probably a better assessment of that. But yeah, I think desire is a spiral. It's never enough. It's like it's a trap. It's a trap because it's like you get it and then it's more, and then you don't get the same high. Like it's just
Hmm.
not a good way to focus your intentions
Yeah.
or attention.
No, I agree. I think we need to be more need focused. Like, what is the need?
Yeah.
Because a need can be satiated.
Yeah, you gotta have like a like when people say purpose. I think that's
Hmm.
purpose. But if your
Yeah.
purpose is just simply like a tactile
Hmm.
desire kind of thing, that's a slippery slope. Like
Yeah.
because it's like no limit to it. So you got to have a
Hmm.
mission. Like you got to have a measurable, like they call smart goals. It has to be something
Yeah.
that can be measured, and so you can say, "I have successfully done this thing."
Yeah.
But desire is
Nah.
not good for that. Like chasing joy is
Hey, because what does
that's
joy
a hell
mean?
of a spiral, right?
What does joy mean?
You're gonna spiral.
Yeah.
Cause I
And
mean,
then
if you
after
go to the
you,
highest joy, that's like mania. Like when the people are like
yeah.
crazy and they're just laughing and just like, oh, I'm just out of it, but they're so happy the whole time. Like that's madness.
But even if like that's what is that? I can't remember what they call it. Oh, there was a term for it. I haven't heard in about a year. But there's a like dopamine. Like
Yeah, the
there's a
dopamine
like
feedback
that
loop.
dopamine. Yeah, because like after a while, like whatever your highest high is, everything else is going to be like lowered
Hmm.
because you've reached this new high. So everything else
Right.
is lowered down. So it's like it's the law of diminishing returns is
Yeah.
another way to say it. But the law of diminishing returns. If you keep chasing joy every time you have a new high, because there's only so high you can go. Like there's only so many highs that you could actually pursue and obtain. Like, I mean, what you do, like do this thing in space now? Like after you've done it, like okay, I've been everywhere on the country, on the globe. I've been
Right.
everywhere. I've seen everything. I've tasted every kind of food. Well, now I'm going to do it in space. Like what's eventually there's a cap to your
It's,
capacity. Like
it's
there's a
or you
upper
just
limit.
spiral into madness. It's a
Or you
trap.
spiral into madness. Yeah, it's a trap. Another theme from Uzumaki was inevitability and fate. Now, the inevitability of the spiral in Uzumaki reflects how deeply ingrained consumerism is in American life. It feels like an inescapable force, pulling individuals and society into cycles of spending, upgrading, and accumulating. Advertisements, social pressures, and economic systems reinforce the idea that buying more is inevitable, no matter how hard one tries to resist. What do you think about the inevitability and fate?
I agree. Say that last part again, though. That last
That last sentence.
sentence.
Advertisements, social pressures, and economic systems reinforce the idea that
Oh,
buying more is inevitable, no matter how hard one tries to resist.
yeah, I agree with that. I think Jonathan Pajot talked about that too. Like you kind of have to go with it.
Hmm.
If everything's moving that way, you kind of have to go with it because you'll be left behind
Yeah.
or you'll become obsolete. So yeah, I think it
Hmm.
is that's part of that. Like I think that's
Oh
part of
my
the reason
God.
that you have to accept suffering because
Yeah.
it's not really something that you don't have enough power to prevent suffering. Because you exist as much as people like we want to believe that we have all this control over ourselves and we don't really control nearly as much as we like to believe we do. So that's
I'm
kind of
with
why
you
you
on
got to
that.
get comfortable with the idea of like you will suffer.
Yeah. When you said that, what came to my mind is my phones. Like I'm always forced to get a new phone because they stop. Like iPhone, y'all Droid users, y'all probably safe. I'm an iPhone person. After your phone, because I take care of my stuff, it's always in the case. I have devices where I've never touched the screen because I immediately had a screen protector. Like when I bought the device, I got a screen. I've never touched some of my screens. Like that one over here, that's a Google thing I've had for about 7 years now. I've never touched the screen because I've never taken the original Google film protector off of it when I use it. Like so, I take care of my stuff. I take care of it. So it's like all of a sudden when they stop doing updates, that drives me nuts because I get left behind. They want to push me to buy a new version every year, and I don't want to. My phone works just fine. I didn't break it. My screen is not cracked. Yeah, planned obsolescence. It's sick. It's sick that they do that. But they're
Yeah,
pushing us. And either
but
you
the
get
the
left
same
behind.
right the same people is like you want that comfort because you have the thing. So you're kidding yourself. Like you're kidding yourself. You have the phone. You want to be a part of it. Then it's like, well, I want to hang in the back. So
Hmm.
it's kind of like you are forced to go along because those people who live off the grid for real, like who really for real about that life, like those people don't mind being left behind. Like they
Yeah, they don't
don't
mind.
mind being left behind. But I think most of us want to kind of at least stay in tow.
Okay. There's there's nothing wrong with how it feels. I love how it
Hmm.
feels. But I also want to protect things. I want to keep them in a pristine
And
working
this
condition.
is called irrational
No, it's not a it
behavior.
works. It's just fine. I use it. I've been using it for 7 years. It works just fine.
Is it
The screen
obsolete yet?
protector, not yet. But I have it. I have iPhones that I can no longer use because they've quit updating the apps. They will not
Right.
allow the operating system or the apps to be updated. So the planned obsolescence is impacted me. The phone
Yeah.
worked just fine. I've got like 3 phones that work just fine, but I can't use them any longer.
Right.
That sucks. So I don't like the feeling of pursuit. Like I gotta get the iPhone 17,1759. I don't want to do that. But I also don't want to be the person that my iPhone 8, it still works. And my iPhone 6, it still works. But I can't use them. I don't like the feeling of getting left behind, nor
Right. I think
like
that's a rally for
pursuing a
most
new one
people.
every
They
year.
may not be in the front of the pack. They kind of just hang in the back,
Yeah.
but they still want to be in the pack.
Yeah.
You just don't want to be like you don't have to be in the front.
Hmm.
So I think
It's crazy.
that's reasonable.
Yeah. But like you
I don't
said,
really
you're gonna suffer either way.
yeah, you're
If
gonna
you're
suffer.
suffering because you're pursuing, or you're suffering because you're running
Just
from
getting
the
pulled
end point.
along.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So it's either way. So another thing from Uzumaki, which I did not, I was going to put some of the body transform
Man,
disfiguration
I
on here
wish
for
you would
y'all.
have because I just
I
keep thinking
didn't.
about that girl with the eyeball.
The eyeball. I'm not going to mess with. I don't want to mess with anybody's visuals because everybody on YouTube. Sometimes we have some sensitivities over here. But one of the aspects and themes of Uzumaki was body horror and
Hmm.
transformation. I would call it disfiguration. So in Uzumaki, bodies twist and deform under the influence of spirals. In the culture of consumerism, we can see a parallel in how consumption alters our bodies and minds. From the physical toll of unhealthy lifestyles, I'm a big back, marketed to us, fast food, sedentary habits, to the psychological impact of constantly being bombarded with messages telling us we're not enough with certain products. Consumerism distorts our natural state, leading to a culture of body modification, manipulation, beautification, anything to look optimized. Looks max.
Looks maxing.
But what do you think about that? The body horror and transformation slash disfiguration.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, but I think that's like the nature of humans to some degree. Like we think a
Hmm.
thought, then you fashion yourself, and eventually you embody the thought.
Yeah.
Eventually, so I think it. I think it is a good parallel to how the human mind works. Eventually, you're going to embody the thing that you
Hmm.
thought about, or you obsessed about, or even think about. You will
Yeah.
eventually become that thing. So yeah, I think it's just a play on that. The beautification and all that is still related to consumerism, the
Yeah.
necessary things
Yeah.
to be marketable and likable. So yeah, it's
And
just
it feels necessary. That's what
yeah,
the worst part about that all the whole thing. It feel I've heard so many people. Well, you have to do this to live. You have to do
yeah,
this to get a job. You have to do this. I'm like, I hate hearing that because I
it's
know
true.
one that the pressure is true, but I know that's also not true. Like the pressure is true.
In the realm of possibilities, it's not true, but
Yeah.
in acting out civilization is true. The
He got a sus comment.
distance
It's too
between the
much.
front, nah. Oh, I thought it was the distance between the front
Oh,
and
the
the
difference
back.
between the front, middle, and the back of the pack. That's
Yeah,
sus. Which
brother and
one's
friend.
sus to you, a name? Because
Yeah,
him saying there's too much, that's probably what he says quite a bit. That's super sus to me. But the difference between the front and middle and the back, that could be sus too. But everything Nova says is always sus.
I'd rather be in the front,
Yeah.
sis. But still,
Nova did the human centipede 3 times.
but yes, I mean, so it is necessary. I think.
Mm.
You know what? I noticed a thought
Let's go.
pattern with you.
What?
I wonder if you behave this way as well.
Okay, let's bring it to the front.
Here
And do
come
not say never
grits.
mind. Bring it out.
It is not time for you to eat, little nigga. Get out of my face. Okay, get that cough out. Sorry, I'm.
Oh,
Let me micromanage real quick. Get the cough
yeah.
out. Take a deep breath.
The
Cough.
distance getting closer and get that
Um,
back.
you
Let's
need
go.
space. Mars is preferable for close. No, I'm just kidding. I always say you need space to Mars. Like, how much space do you need? You need space
Right,
in
right, right.
space. But even
Yeah.
mentally, you need that space. Like, you need a mental out of what you feel is constraint for
So what
some
brought that
reason.
on?
Like, it's just I noticed a pattern in like thought. You need to constantly remind yourself of a realm in which whatever you, girl, why you
Is this
calling
about
me?
the beautification? Like the beautification one? Is that what did it?
No, I just heard it when you just said you hate that or something, and then you were like, when people say I have to because of this, but you
Okay,
don't
yeah,
have
yeah, yeah.
to. Like it was that. So I was it just made
Okay,
me like put it, it was just like when you said it, it had the same energy as
got you.
like I need like I need to just know I have this pocket over here.
Okay.
Like where I can be whatever. I don't know. It's a vibe. It's a feeling. So I don't have good words for it. Just
I know.
feeling.
I got you. I got you. Yeah, I'm with you.
Energy.
I'm with you.
So yeah, you need that pocket of realm, that realm where anything can happen, the possibilities. Like you just have to preserve it for
Yeah,
your structures. And that was
yeah,
it. It was just a
yeah.
noticing of that.
No, I get you. But I think it's something that also is important for people to realize
Mm-hmm.
the because people get locked into structures and
Mm-hmm.
they try to capture other people there. So I'll bring it to voting. People keep trying to tell me that there are threats to democracy, and the only
I hate
way
it.
to right,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they're trying to lock people into a structure. It's a trap.
Yeah. They're mind.
The only way to avoid the threat to democracy is to vote for my candidate,
Right.
and then they'll say things like, "Well, there are only two choices: the
Yeah.
threat to democracy and my candidate." No, because when I got my ballot, there were 8 people listed. So I have multiple. I have more choices than that. Like people sometimes there are other avenues, but because they are allowing their mind to be locked to
Yeah, they
what
mind.
society will tell them their choices are, they won't consider them. They won't
Yeah,
even consider anything else.
yeah.
So that's why for me, I had to learn that, and you're right. I believe you about that energy thing because I had to learn that like through life, that
Mhm.
people will constrict you to the choices that they have assigned for themselves or accepted, and they'll
Mhm.
lock you into those. But that's not all the possibilities there are, and I had to learn that the hard way. So it's become a core principle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I respect that. I respect what you said.
It's like in this game, Secret of the Mana, you always had this like escape rope in your
Hmm.
kit. And
Yeah,
sometimes you go into boss battles and you be like, oh shit just got real. I'm gonna throw the escape rope.
yeah,
That's what it feels like. That's why I didn't
yeah,
have good words for it because it just I
yeah.
saw the visual of the escape rope in my
Hmm.
head. And I'm like, how do I verbalize this without it being like oddly niche where no one knows what I'm talking about? But
Got you.
yeah.
It reminds me what I would say happened to Yella, and I don't know. I don't even remember Yella. Remind me how you learned this, man. Thanks for being here. He learned to start going backwards when you start the map. So I can't remember. You going to have to remind us what game that was, but most people don't think that's it's a linear progression thing. So you
Yeah.
always go, you always scroll one way, or you always move forward. But
Right.
something taught him. I always got to try to go backwards first, and that's part of the thing. Our minds are conditioned to always go linear, and sometimes the trick is you got to go the opposite way.
Yeah. She said I'll vote for Yay. Turn up. Vote for Yay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Yellow, when you get here, man, let me know because I'm curious. I had to learn that. I did it on the Spider-Man game. There's this Mysterio has this trap room, and they got you down going down this endless hallway. And then I remembered it. I was like, even though I started going down the hallway, why don't I just go back to where I came from? And when I turned around to go back where I came from, the exit door was there.
Oh
Oh, he
damn.
disappeared.
Okay.
Yeah,
But yeah, I do this. I do the same thing in ways too. So
mm,
I totally understand it. That's why I was like, but I do it more so that I won't manifest that thing that
yeah,
I'm trying not to do. So I kind of have to give myself permission to
yeah. You were
escape
talking
if
about
I
that
want to.
yesterday.
Yeah, I have to give
So,
myself permission to escape if I want to. Same kind of
mhm.
idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It keeps you from needing to be rebellious.
Yeah.
Like if you have permission to do whatever the thing is that you need to do, if all things are on the table, then you don't have to flip the table when there are no more options. Like
Like,
I'm
let me
not even
look
sure.
under this bitch real quick.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You gotta.
Ah,
I'm
flipping
gonna vote for the
everything
one I've
over.
heard the least information about. That's probably
Yeah.
the smartest way, honestly. Yeah, I mean, because most people end up having to flip the table over because they don't like the choices on the table, and it's like, well, let's put everything on the table, anything. Let's put the kitchen sink on the table. Like, let's bring it all. But I think that's important. I don't like being limited, so you're right. I mean, like I said, you're right. I ain't gonna deny it. Now, on the next theme, they have nature and the unknowable. In the same way that spirals and uzumaki are a fundamental force of nature, consumerism is often seen as a natural, unstoppable force in capitalist societies. It can feel as though there's no alternative to this system, and any attempt to comprehend or escape it seems futile. The fear of being left behind in a constantly evolving market mirrors the terror of confronting forces beyond our control. And that reminds me of what you talked the beautification. Well, you're gonna get left behind. You gotta keep up. You gotta do so. What do you think about the nature and the unknowable?
Hmm. Say it again.
In the
It
same
wasn't
way
that I
that this,
wasn't listening. I
no, I
need to
got
hear
you.
it
No,
again.
it's yeah, it's new. It's you're hearing this for the first time, so I'm with you. Um, in the same way that spirals and uzumaki are a fundamental force of nature, consumerism is often seen as a natural, unstoppable force in capitalist societies. It can feel as though there's no alternative to the system, and any attempt to comprehend or escape it seems futile. The fear of being left behind in a constantly evolving market mirrors the terror of confronting forces beyond our control.
Okay. Yeah. Because I was thinking about that last scene where they like finally went down to where the spiral started, and then he
Mhm.
was like, "I can't fight the spiral anymore." Like he just
Yeah, yeah.
he got tired. He was just like, "Bro, I can't even fight this no more. You got to join them. Can't beat them. Join them." So,
Mhm.
uh, yeah, I kind of do agree with that. It is the reality of existing in a society where you're not the king or the god of it. It's like to some degree, you do have to kind of just go with the pack. Even people who don't believe that they're a part of it, oftentimes you're not immune to it, and you're still affected by it. That's why, like, if I don't vote. I just really don't give a fuck on a high level.
Mhm.
It's just like, because I'm here, like, to some degree,
Okay.
like, I'm here. It's like, that's what this whole idea of you're gonna suffer anyway. It's not really dark for
Mhm.
me. It's just kind of like, I fucking live in America and I'm not going anywhere, and I don't like either one of these motherfuckers. So, like,
Let's go.
one of them gonna win,
Right.
just like people who I didn't like won before. And
Hmm.
just like the people before me had to exist in some shit they didn't sign up for or even approve of. And, like, now what? Like, I do have things that would move me to vote, but I would never have something that would just move me to vote and that's it. If that makes any sense. Like, if it was something that important, it would move me to not only vote, but then go out and do shit and, like, try to help people get registered to vote. And, like, it
Got you.
would mobilize me to the point where I'm having an impact, because I just don't, you're not gonna get
Yeah.
me to get all this energy for my one vote. So, like, that's
Yeah.
the thing for me. Like, I don't
I'm
have
with you.
it. Just, I'm prepared to suffer because the
Yeah.
options are stupid, and most
Yeah.
people just go with the two options. And, like, if it was something that moved me enough to vote, then it would move me to do a lot more than just vote.
Yeah. I like that. I respect that. Now you back with us, Yellow? You here? Is you here? Player? Is
I
you
don't
here?
know. He looked. Oh, nah,
Nah,
his voice
audio
ain't
ain't here.
active.
Audio ain't with us.
We're under Plan detour course when necessary until there's an outbreak. I have a nurse is calling, so, like, even if there was an outbreak, I'd probably hang back and
Try to help.
try to help. Yeah. So, like, that's what I mean. Like, people, I always tell you, people say I'm nonchalant, and I am to some degree, but
Yeah.
not to no end. But I
Yeah.
just, like, yeah, I mean, okay. Like, oh, he's gonna bring slavery. Okay, then we just gonna have to get together and whoop that nigga ass. Like, I don't know what else to tell y'all. Like, if the shit come, if it happens, let's mobilize and do something about it
Mhm.
for real, for real. Like,
Yeah.
if it come to that, then we'll start doing shit. Like, I don't know. It's just really hard for me.
Can we be for real on that real quick? Just quick. I'm glad you said that. Because I haven't thought about it. Because when people say it, it's so stupid that I don't give it thought.
Right,
But
exactly.
let me read this comment. People being stupid should not be so easily acknowledged and agreed with so smoothly. That facts. Because that thing, bringing back slavery, if they brought back slavery,
Ugh.
most people wouldn't be able to afford slaves. So what?
We
Like
gonna be
we can.
slaves.
Yeah, they couldn't. They can't
We
afford
already
stuff now.
slaves. What
People
Kanye at?
are. They're complaining about the price of eggs, complaining about the price of milk. What do you think they're gonna do with a whole person? They can't afford a whole person, and they sure enough about to afford feeding you. It's like our
And if
economy
we
is too
talk
messed
about
up.
the type of slavery, like, we're already slaves. Come on, let's really
Yeah,
walk it out. Like,
including
and
more than black people.
I'm a slave as in opposition to what am I now? If you work under a corporation, get a small amount where you can't actually quit and do anything, like,
Man,
what?
listen.
And oh, you think bringing universal basic income in is going to make you less of a fucking slave?
Yeah,
Like,
buddy.
yeah, already
Nah,
slaves. Neo feudalism is
yeah,
here, and you're all peasants and serfs. That's why
yeah,
I laugh when people say it, because we're all peasants and serfs. I'm like, and you want me to believe that's not the state of the world right now? Like, I'm so free and powerful and actually control all the outcomes of my life. Like, you really want me to I have to believe that first to believe that I need to be scared of someone putting me into slavery.
yeah. Okay, voice
Exactly.
check. Voice check, yellow.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yep, you here. Let's go. Let's go.
He got that
Plot
ultra quiet
twist.
mic still.
You right.
Yeah, so
Can't
shut the
afford
fuck
slave.
up and listen when I'm speaking.
I
That's what that means.
love it. Yeah, people want to be 3 times slaves, selling body parts. Man. But now I'm with you, man. Welcome to the stream, Yellow. Glad you can finally make it in. Glad your voice can make it in. You know what I'm saying? We had your image before, but now your voice is here. So it's good to have all of you. But let me read this next thing. Talking about Uzumaki, themes from Uzumaki and bringing in how we consumer. And again, just consumerism is not just about buying things. Again, abstract thinking, we consume by watching videos. That's a consumption. Things that go into our eyes, our ears, our mouths, on our skin, and our nose. All of that's a consumption. All the thoughts that we're listening to in the conversation, we're consuming. We're taking it in, ingesting. So
Take
a
that.
theme from ooh, take that. Shoot, 1,000 bottles of baby oil. That's a lot of consumption. Anyway, um, stop it with the thoughts, the intrusive thoughts,
I
intrusive thought
I
giver.
I
Intrusive thought giver. Stop it. So, isolation and alienation. Theme from Uzumaki. Just as the town in Uzumaki becomes isolated by the spiral, individuals in a consumerist society can feel alienated despite the constant flow of goods and services. The pursuit of material success often leads to a sense of emptiness or isolation. As personal relationships and deeper meaning get sacrificed for the accumulation of wealth and status, the more people consume, the more disconnected they often feel from authentic human experiences. And I would throw that as what is levied at dudes. The dudes like want a provider guy, but the provider guy is never home. So they say, "Well, I'm." We heard this. I feel like a single mom, like that kind
yeah.
of thing. Or
Mm-hmm.
I'm not connected. I don't feel like I get any time. But like, okay, well, you want this consumerist lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to sacrifice the connection. So there's a. But what do y'all think about that?
If y'all. No, it's true
Like,
though. Well, because of the very nature of consumerism or capitalism, it's like commodifying nature.
mm-hmm.
So anytime you standardize anything, commodify it, you replicate it in a not natural way. You replicate it. So
Yeah,
yeah, when you start applying consumerist principles to relationships, then yeah, a lot of times the more you
catch
get
and
that
release.
standardized factory setting, this is how you build a marriage, open the pack. I don't read instructions, so but
Or do
shelf
tutorials.
right or do tutorials. So is the more you build your marriage like the
Fuck
factory,
a tutorial.
right. The shelf A, shelf B, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I found some cool ways to put shit together that wasn't in the instructions. I mean, you can still figure it out.
Yeah,
You gonna have them extra two screws left at the end, but hey, it's together. So I don't know. The more you do that, you do sacrifice that feeling it out, getting a better understanding of the actual person. It's just kind of replicating what it already said it would be, which is not much.
yeah.
It don't be saying it's gonna be all that, but we project that it's gonna be all this other stuff on it.
Okay.
Oh,
What about you, yo?
What's the question?
The question is, why do hot dogs come in packs of 10, but hot dog buns comes in pack of 8?
10, 8, 6.
Just throwing
No,
out
they come in
numbers.
tens, and they typically come in 10, and the buns come in 8.
I ain't got a pack of 10 hot dogs in years, but
But you be getting all beef.
Just
it's like 8, yeah.
it's so you'll always need one of the other. That's why.
Mmm.
Mm.
Podcast. Yeah.
Podcast.
Planned asymmetry. So you'll always have either
So
more
then you'll
buns
have to
and
get more
meat.
buns, and then you be like, damn, I gotta get some hot dogs. Gotta need
Yep.
buns. Then you gonna need some more
That's
buns.
Spiral. Now
spiral.
you in a glizzy
Spiral of
spiral.
consumption.
Yeah, because the peanut butter
Dang.
and the jelly never be the same size either.
Yep. Dang.
Nope. Sure don't.
Dude, be smart.
Yeah.
Notice
But
that
now
in
we talking about
no, wait. It's the same thing in the Lunchables too. You can't one
Yeah.
to one cracker sandwiches in the Lunchables. You always end up having to
what?
put an extra piece of meat or an extra piece of
Yeah, it's
cheese.
always
Yeah,
an extra piece,
It's not an even count.
which is
I
the
thought
It's
it
dumbest
always an
was
shit.
extra
even.
piece of something.
No,
Extra
I
piece of
it
had I ain't
is.
had
cheese.
one in a
Extra
long
piece of
time.
meat. Nope.
Wow.
because it's a luxury
So
item.
you always end up with a
That's
sandwich with an extra.
insidious.
Yep.
Because
So
it's a
always make sure you got so you always lacking.
Oh.
no, you always have excess.
Yep.
Well, it's but you don't
You
perceive it
always
as
have it. Or
excess. When you have
either
that
way.
excess, you're only going to perceive the
Either way.
lack.
Nah, but a Lunchable for broke
Hmm.
people. Lunchables is a luxury, so it's a luxury item.
Yeah. It's a luxury item. But I'm saying
So
when you get
then
to
you
that
got
last and
excess. You throw it away.
removing her from the stream, she don't know how to consumerist right. She does not know how to. She does not know how to consume properly.
Actually, according to consumerism, I'm right because you know how much trash we send out.
Oh shoot!
Discarding and
Hmm.
throwing away extra is a part of consumerism.
Oh, I mean that's true. But I'm
Yeah,
saying
Yeah,
if you're the person
trust me.
consuming a Lunchable,
Oh
I
man.
throw
you
it
ain't about to
away.
throw away.
I'm not because it's always that nasty ass meat though. Nobody want by itself.
Yeah, in fact
She,
though,
but
like if you still eating the meat and cheese lunchable, like you a savage.
what's the Lunchable du jour? What's the current popular Lunchable? 'Cause I'm out of touch.
The pizzas.
The
They
pizzas.
got
The
chicken nuggets
pizzas.
too, but
Come on, man. Come on, man. In the stream, man. Come on, man. In the stream, man.
Cause
Make
I
sure
don't
it
know
comes
what
over
I
time
don't know
then,
what
man.
Lunchable to
Motherfucking
eat.
pizzas.
he don't eat Lunchable.
No,
But that
because we
cheese,
both
but the
said
cheese is
pizzas at the same
trash.
time.
Oh
Because
yeah,
Okay.
we both said pizza. The
Okay.
yeah.
what?
I get my kids them pizzas because that's still a flex.
Mm,
That's what I'm saying. You got
man,
to think Lunchable was
Yeah.
a
Yeah, the pizza
luxury item.
lunchable.
Yeah, because if a
it
kid
is.
brought a Lunchable, they had money.
Yeah.
And look, you don't even get enough pepperoni to put 3 slices on each one no more.
No,
You're
you
right.
don't.
You get like 8. You
Yeah,
get 8. You get 3 on one, 3 on the next one, and
Whack.
then you get 2 on that last one.
Whack.
it's a
That's
trap.
crazy. That's crazy. I
Yeah,
never even thought about it like that.
yeah.
Like
Consumerism requires excess, so
forced.
you know that's like one of those tests. You know, you see how people treat that extra,
Mm-hmm.
and it gives you an idea if they're coming in at a deficit or excess. So like you
Mm.
know, thank God I'm not dating because I'll come up with all kind of
See?
stupid ass things.
Yeah.
I'm like, let me see if he throw this meat away or eat it.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm gonna know if he
So
lacking.
what would happen? So if he eat it, what would that mean?
I mean,
that's
he lacking.
Dang, that's messed
He
up.
not comfortable enough to throw that nasty ass meat away. And
yeah.
that shit is disgusting.
Yeah.
But you're eat.
Yes it
Wait a minute.
is.
But you ate all the rest of the nasty meat. That's the crazy
With
part.
the crackers and the cheese, it hit. But if you just that meat by itself ain't hitting on nothing. It's low quality. If you actually eat
Yeah,
it by
yeah, for
itself,
real. You
it's
just eating the meat by itself.
But it's funny though because you're
You
eating
a
the same
savage.
meat. Like okay, like I quit going to rallies for this rallies checkers. I went and I got a plain. It was Big Buford's at the time. I don't know what they call it now. They used to have Big Buford,
Yeah.
but I got one with nothing
Big
on it, just
Buford's.
meat and cheese.
Cheer.
That Joker was nasty. I would rather lick carpet, and I was like, "This is disgusting. This is what I've been eating the whole time."
yeah.
My God. So if you know the meat's nasty, Brie, why are you going to eat it with the meat? I mean, with the cheese and the cracker.
Because with the cheese and the crackers, it's fine. But just by
But
itself,
but you know it's nasty. But you know it's nasty. Like you know it.
you
You said
missing the
that.
point of the experiment. The point of the experiment
Right.
is what do you do with excess? Do you even see it as excess or do you see
Excess,
it
yeah.
as you don't have something?
Man, listen.
It's a Rorschach test.
I
Right. Do
hear
you
the
see it
I
as
hear the experiment.
excess
Or you missing something.
or
Right.
extra?
Hmm.
Is
Right.
it
Do you look
excess
at it
or
as
are you
extra?
now missing something? I think that's the point. Like for me,
Yeah.
it's excess, so I throw it away.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's
They did
extra.
used to be good.
Yeah, man.
They used to
Chuck
be
that
good.
shit, bro.
Yeah, chuck it.
So you throw away the extra meat?
Rallies is off the chain. Though.
Are you talking about rally? Yellow, you talking about are you chucking the extra little meat flap in the lunchable?
Yeah. He
The
said
little meat
yeah.
Okay.
chip?
Tell me when you hear this. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Oh, we hear you counting
5. It's a
five,
done.
Okay, I didn't know.
six.
Yeah, we
Sorry.
heard you count. So start again.
Tell me when you hear
Tell me
this.
when you hear
1,
this.
1,
2,
2,
3. All right.
3.
So it's a slight delay. It's a slight
Okay.
delay. It's a slight delay. All right. All right. All right. Just trying to
Okay.
make sure. I'm over here glitching. Rallies is the shit. The fries is the bomb. Big Buford was the motherfucking banger. I used to work there when I was younger, and I made it. I do what? Oh my
Oh, what
god.
was your hat? Tell
What?
us your hat. I know you had a hat.
What hat?
Like you had a
What
hack.
hat?
Like there was some sandwich
My
that you
hat.
made that was off menu. Your off menu,
Oh, it was a double triple everything.
a double.
I took the meat. I took a double triple everything. Yep. It was everything it was everything in that bitch I could put on like a double sandwich basically. So it was like uh chicken patty on top with the Swiss cheese and the mushroom sauce because we had the mushroom Swiss burger, and then the meat, the bread in the middle, and then the big Buford meat with the American cheese, and then like some onions and lettuce and
Consumerism.
mayo and yeah, hell yeah, I'm there. It's there. Shit.
That's
Fuck.
So you would have a
consumerism.
chicken
You
and
spiral.
burger, like a ham. So a chicken burger, chicken and hamburger. That's
Yeah.
oh that's weird. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the spiral. That's the consumerist spiral. There you go.
You
Perfect
put
example.
everything together.
Yeah, you just
Dad,
keep
because you're
doing
right. Because you got to
Yeah.
keep up in the ante. That's why they end up now putting like stuff between two chicken patties, like putting stuff between meat patties, but it's
it.
like a
That's
sandwich, but
right.
the meat
Oh
patties
It's
is
man,
never
outside.
enough.
what?
It's never
Man,
enough.
That fucking thing where that fucking sandwich at that fucking sandwich where they had the chicken as the bread,
yeah,
the two chicken breasts as the bread.
yep,
Oh nigga,
yep.
what I was banging that motherfucker. I was putting the cabanes on that bitch.
I never had one, man. I couldn't
Hey,
do it.
This is
they
the
was
consumerist spiral. Just doing shit
Yeah,
just cause y'all might as well go ahead and curl into the spiral, people, and make the
Misty.
house.
Mister, he
hell
said it
yeah.
the other day. He was like, the American culture is putting bacon and cheese on everything. I was like,
Hmm.
yep,
Just for the
putting
hell
bacon
of
and
it.
cheese on everything.
Cause
But
you
he left out frying because you got to fry it. You got to put bacon and
Mm,
cheese on it, batter it, and fry it.
I
That's it.
mean, is that a problem?
it's American. It's American.
Yeah,
That's really the statement.
Fuck right.
It's
man.
I'm
American.
finna say that's my God-given American right to
Right, to
put
eat a
cheese and
cheeseburger.
bacon on any fucking thing I want. A
Exactly.
salad, a fucking burger, a donut, some ice cream. I don't give a fuck. That's my
That's
God-given
American.
blood, red-blooded American right.
Put bacon on shit. I'm telling you.
Oh God,
It's true. So yes, are you gonna fight the spiral or you gonna join the curse? Cause I mean, them people who got taken by the spiral curse were not upset.
they didn't seem to be.
No, they just be dead in the
They
end.
were disturbing and
Yeah.
disturbed.
Nah, they
But
just gave in. Yeah,
No,
they
I'm
super
just
gave
saying, but
in.
the people who even were walking out the curse wasn't like maybe when they were still fighting the curse, they was like, "Oh, I don't feel so good, guys." But I mean, once
yeah,
they settled into the
hmm
people locking that monster up, they was good.
man, when them people that was all up in the house and when they
Yeah.
we found out they were all jumbled together like
Pull it up.
cords. That was
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh,
That was
that's like
crazy.
that is like
Nigga,
a
did you
cord drawer.
hear?
They was happy though. They was working
Did you hear
together.
the sound?
They were
Did you
The
hear the
sound.
sound that motherfucker made? Did you hear the, did no, I'm
as it
saying,
was
did you hear the
moving.
sound old girl made when she turned into like what I forgot what she turned into. It was
You talking about
something.
when
It
the
was
guy
either
turned
that or
into the
one of the dudes
snail
who
and we
turned
was
into the
like,
yeah. When he turned into the snail, he was like,
he sounded like
That nigga was
Oh
like,
shit.
just give
He
in.
enjoyed that shit.
Just give in. Like
Yeah.
He was
Oh
like,
my god.
yeah, like I think you're uncomfortable until you just give in. I
he
mean,
Oh
just
my god.
you fighting
he
for
just
what?
came in,
But that's what
man.
we kept saying the whole time. You're
He
fighting this,
relaxed.
but you're not leaving. I
Hmm.
feel like the boyfriend is like a lot of people online who just like are good at noticing problems, but they ain't doing shit about it. Like that nigga, he could see every problem. This is
Hmm.
happening. This is happening. Had a good memory
Yep.
of it. That man was not trying to leave.
Yeah. But
Mhm.
And
nobody
that's
really
how a lot of
wanted to
people.
leave.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of people have turned into that. Like, oh, they just walking around point. Who
Yeah,
worse?
criticizing it.
Yeah, who worse? Kitty A, who is just like,
Oh my god.
I'm living my
Oh my
life
god.
like it's golden,
That's a good
Are
point.
we?
That's a
Ooh,
good
y'all
point.
about to make me rage. Are we
or
talking about people? Are we talking about people who just won't leave and then just rage out about the situation
I
instead of
mean,
just leaving?
I mean, we're
that's a
just
good
talking
point.
about the
Oh,
two
But
type of
can they?
people that exist within consumerism too, or
yes, you
just,
can. Especially if
just
it's as simple as hitting the X button.
Well, yeah, no,
Especially if
that's
it's
true.
simple as
That's the
backing them out.
worst. Yeah, that's the worst. If it's simple as backing
Especially
out, that's the worst.
yeah, if it's as simple as taking a step back
but they don't want
and
to.
instead
Just
you
like
want to
that
take a step
guy,
Yeah.
forward.
he could have left early in the show. He knew
Or
before
try to.
everybody else.
Yeah.
He knew before everybody else
Yeah.
that they would
He
want
was
to
it.
leave. And I think the whole purpose of the show was like at the beginning, she was like, "Would you ever want to leave town with me?" Because she knew that he was too tied to his family and stuff to ever leave. I think that's why she said it to him. Like, dude, would you ever consider leaving town with me? So we already established that he ain't really about that leaving life. Like he ain't trying to go
Mm-hmm.
nowhere. He's too caught up in
I,
his duty to ever leave. And so like
you
that's
gotta
how a lot of
accept
people
it.
are.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta accept it. I could probably never move from where I'm at. Real talk.
Yeah.
Not until like some. I ain't gonna say what dominoes need to fall, but there's gonna be some dominoes need to fall before like I can move from where I'm at.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I
Yeah.
don't even have that desire. In fact, I hated that shit. Like anybody I was like dealing with, and they be like, "I want to move out of town." I was like, "Bye, man. I ain't going with you." This will
But yeah.
immediately turn into a long distance relationship.
But I think neither one of
Man.
them really wanted to leave, but it was just like, how do you exist within that? Like Kitty A was just like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what? I'm here. Today is a new day. That's how Kitty A seemed to be living her life. But the boyfriend was just like constantly walking around depressed, like, oh, everybody's suffering. It's terrible. Look at this, look at
Mm-hmm.
that. And like they both kind of were doing the same thing.
So is it inevitable? Like, is there a way to win in the system? Like, can we defeat the spiral?
No. If you ain't leaving town,
No, nigga.
exactly. You ain't leaving town. Shut your ass up. Help build this spiral house or some shit. Turn it to a
Man.
snail. Hey.
You might as well consider this a water slide, nigga. We on this bitch. Goddamn it. Put your hands up, nigga.
Have
Put
fun or
your
something
hands
on the
up.
way down.
Do that
Damn.
little right. Do that little slide
Lean
rock.
in.
You know what I'm saying? That little thing that we be thinking that make us go down the slide faster. That little
Yeah.
slide
Yeah.
rock. You might as well do all that, bro. Kick your feet, spin around.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm
You know
saying?
what I'm saying?
Right. But shit. Enjoy this spiral, nigga. This shit
It
is
get
over with,
faster.
bro.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not one
You
of
can't
those
even get
like
to.
stay and fight,
We
move,
can't
leave the
even get
country.
one. We like most people can't even get one to one change.
Right.
Fair.
Most people can't
And
even
you think
change
we
their
finna
own
stop
life.
a spiral?
Yeah.
Ah, man.
Right. You think you finna stop a spiral or some shit? Man, the best thing you can do is hope that the spiral spin fast enough to throw you off that bitch.
Mm. Dang, and now Bree gonna have me self evaluating as I talk. Because I would say, as long as I don't end up in that house with all the people, then I heard her say, "See, you still with the space. The space
Yeah.
thing is just
See,
so ingrained in everything. It's ingrained in everything."
what's so bad about the house of the people? They was working together.
They
They
was working
built.
together, but they was up under each other.
They was
They
chilling.
was
They seemed to be fine.
they see. I would have been hurt. It would have been that
You
part would
saw
have
how
been
much
bad.
work they got done when they was together like that.
No, they reformed the whole town. They they was banging it out.
That's what I'm
Pause.
saying. So
Yeah,
I'm like, there's
you can beat the
camaraderie in
spiral.
that.
I
Yeah.
have. Most people are too
How do
lazy.
you beat the
I am
spiral
lazy.
though? Cause even
I'm
Keita got
fucked.
to the bottom, was like, man, I ain't. I'm just gonna stay here, bro.
Your boy was here.
I think she had the option to leave. I think she could have left if she wanted to, but she was like, I don't want
Man,
to be by myself. I think a lot of
yeah,
people do that. I'm a lone wolf. I'm
that's
a
true.
lone wolf. Then you get to the end, everybody done got ate up by the spiral. And you like, I don't want to be by myself.
That's
Then
true.
shut the fuck up.
There's some of that, and I think a lot of people that claim that they're lone wolves aren't really lone wolves
They
because they're always looking
not
for somebody to run with. So it's like
right.
I'm gonna say that's something that's been annoying me lately. Is people that claim to want to be alone, but always want to somebody like because you've been talking alone together. Like I want somebody to be with to be alone with. Like I hate that. Like if you want to be alone, like leave the other person alone too. Don't like I want to live with you, but I want to not talk to you. I hate that.
Yeah.
I just want to know you're there. I just want to see you. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to touch you.
Collecting
I hate that.
consumerism stuff,
Oh,
like you said. I think you called it like consuming somebody.
uh, nobody wants to get the damn on the damn horse, man. For
I
real.
mean, because you could probably go to another country though. It's so doable. Like it is
Oh yeah,
doable, but most
yeah,
people are not gonna do it because they ain't trying to. Like I'm not trying
yeah.
to leave America
That's right.
because like I ain't trying to figure out what bullshit another country got going on because every country got
That's
something.
true.
You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just like, I'll take my chances here for the most part. All
I'm
the
with it.
passport brothers getting killed. It's like, see,
I'm with
Mm,
it right here, my nigga.
yeah,
yeah.
Good,
It's
good
it's
God.
dang. It's so messed up.
I can get
So
home.
in truth, a lot of us just
So
like the spiral. We just won't admit it.
Yella, put
But
your microphone a little closer to your mouth. So you might have to hold it, bitch.
I had to hold this motherfucker to my
Put it in your
mouth or
mouth.
something.
Yeah, there you go.
yeah,
Put it in your mouth.
Hell,
There you go. That's
you're right,
perfect.
Kilroy. I think that's what I
hell.
want to do.
This
Yeah.
sucks.
I think that's what I
I
want
don't
to do.
know if people like the spiral. It's just you're in it. It's not even about whether you like it or not. You in it.
Yeah.
You're in it. And so now what?
Now what?
So I try. You think about other spirals. Oh, other spirals are this way. Oh, well, you're not in that spiral. You in this one. So
So throw your hands up, enjoy it,
enjoy it or leave
or leave. Which
or
is
die
just going to be
trying.
trading off for another spiral. Like you're just going
Right.
to find another spiral.
You're gonna find that's what y'all be talking about Tia. She left one
Yeah.
spiral to get in another spiral. It's a
Yep.
spiral into madness.
Yeah. Dang. Okay. So it's to recognize that you're just pick a spiral, figure out the flow of the spiral, and then try to enjoy it.
I just know it's spiral is gonna be Fibonacci sequence. Ain't that the golden ratio? That's
Yeah,
like
it's beautiful.
yeah. Spirals is the way of the universe.
Man.
So just
Dang.
realize you're always spiraling in some way.
Okay.
Just where are you?
So just a level of acceptance.
That's the acceptance of
Embrace the
suffering.
suck.
I think. Yeah, the suffering. Like you are gonna suffer, and
Okay.
it's gonna be because of a lot of things that you can't control or you know the suffering is part of it.
Yeah.
Human to exist is to suffer. I don't know. Let me look at the definition of suffering. It's like
Well, I'm
resound
with
to me.
that.
Let me see definition: to experience or to be subjected to something bad or unpleasant. Oh yeah, absolutely,
Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
absolutely, yeah. People
That's fair.
or to tolerate
Mm-hmm.
is another definition. That's archaic though. So to
Listen.
become or appear worse in quality. Subject. Okay.
Yeah, we hear you.
But
And
we can also hear
ourselves
ourselves.
is doubling back.
Most people don't like stability because it's.
It's distracting, ain't it?
I think you put that in the. You put that thing in the title about creating your
I'm
own
gonna turn that
chaos.
listen on stage feeds off. Let me turn that off until he come up.
Oh, okay. Oh, I think it's gone.
Yeah, what role
But
do
you
you
did. I
play?
think you put in the thumbnail about creating a chaos in your own life.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I don't know if
but
people
not.
create stupid shit in their lives for. I mean, some people do create drama, but
Oh yeah,
I don't think stability has to be boring.
I don't think it has to be, but I think it depends on your temperament and disposition. Like, so if you've lived a chaotic life, I think it's hard for the instability to be give you the same level of excitement. It feels like something's missing. Kind of like if
Mm.
you've always used to like carrying a bunch of stuff, then when you don't have the stuff, you feel naked. I think the same thing happens with energies. If you've inhabited a certain energy, like the lack of it starts to feel naked. It feels like stripped down. So I think
Hmm.
that same thing.
I still think it goes back to that last piece of meat in a Lunchable.
How so?
Like it's because like if you live chaotic and you like decided I'm gonna go stable now, it feels like relieving. Not like you're missing. You know what I mean? Like I think sometimes it is a perspective
If
or
you
how
if
you
you make the
entered into it.
choice,
Yeah, if you make the choice. I think it can
yeah,
feel like, oh, this is nice. I don't have to, it is nice to have something that I know. So I don't know. It kind of feels like still another one of those, like how you enter into it. It's kind of like how
yeah,
it lands on you. Like, oh, I'm
yeah,
missing something versus like, oh, it's a relief.
yeah. The way your narratives are shut, how you shape narratives in your head, if they are tuned positively, negative, like how you frame things.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's the extra meat in the Lunchable. I'm throwing it away.
Okay. Well, shoot. I'm eating. If I'm eating all the rest of the meat, I might as well eat that meat too. It don't seem silly. It seems silly to suddenly the meat to be useless. This meat's
It's not.
trash. I've been eating it the whole time.
I'm on the consumerist spiral. Happily, I'm weeing down. Wee. Okay, I'm throwing the
I
meat
mean,
away.
yeah, do it. You do you.
Consumerism
You talk
and
me into it.
discarding is
For you, do your thing. For me and my house,
She said he
I'm gonna
gonna eat
eat
the
that.
meat. Yes, it's not.
Pause.
I don't think it's made to be enjoyed by itself.
Man, that's
So
crazy. But what I started to do though, reason I haven't had Lunchables in a minute, is I started to make my own. Like
yeah,
I
I
started to
feel
just
like
get like the cracker cut meats and cheeses and
yeah, I feel like
crackers.
they kind of just are for kids who like have for real have lunch. You know, you gotta take lunch or whatever. Because we
Yeah.
usually don't. I prefer to make just put some turkey and cheese on the cracker
Mm-hmm.
myself. So
Yeah,
I think
buddy.
you fixed it. Yeah, we can much better.
Okay. Yay.
There we go.
Okay. So as Yella re-enters, I'm letting y'all know this is the end of my spiral content. So from here we can either spiral or move along. That's up to you guys.
I don't know if we should spiral, but you didn't have one more. I thought you had one more.
No, I already showed the last. There was like one more theme thing, but it's like it's starting to get repetitive.
Okay, but yeah, no, I
Yeah,
definitely think Uzumaki is cursed. Something about watching it just messed up my brain or something.
I feel the time slippage. The time slippage hit me, but I'm with it.
Yeah, it is like that. You lose a sense of time. But can you bring
Yeah.
yourself out of a spiral? I don't. I mean, yeah, no, you just kind of gotta let it play out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
no,
Okay.
but that's pretty much my take. Y'all watching Tia spiral, so
Yeah, I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying that so much.
I like to like hear people start enter into the spiral. I like to hear the thought that enters them into the spiral, and then like try to guess what the end of the spiral would be for that thought.
Okay.
So if someone's saying they're chasing joy, I'm like, that's a spiral into madness.
Mm-hmm. What are some
Like you,
other ones you can think of?
like when I
Because
tell
you just
people one of
chasing some shit.
yeah, exactly. You just chasing something. It is like nothing. It's
Just
like
chasing it.
you're gonna go mad.
Mm-hmm.
The other one I think of when people say like, oh, we were talking about that one recently. Like, I'm a married single mom. It's like,
Oh yeah.
well, what is that gonna spiral into?
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna spiral into you actually being a
Oh
single mom.
boy.
It's
Mm-hmm.
gonna actually
Cause
spiral into
I
you being
might
a
as
single
well,
mom.
I might as well just go be by myself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Next thing you know, you on Kendra talking about them.
Nah, I finished the thought plan. Come on.
Or
Too
Oh,
late. We too far into this. I mean, I will spiral at any second.
yeah,
I'm,
mhm.
he's a
I'm
professional
punch out there.
spiraler.
Yeah, she will spiral real quick.
Out of the
So
show Uzumaki, I wanted
it's
to
starting
ask because they had all sorts of ways the spirals manifested. Which
Mhm.
spiral do you think you're more susceptible to being? Because each spiral was based off something about the person. Like the girl with the eyeball,
Mhm.
she was in her own head spiral, so she turned into a
Mhm.
black hole. And then the couple spiraled together because they like codependent. Like we can't do this, so they turned into a
Yeah.
codependent Loch Ness monster. And then you had the collective people who couldn't leave because they just had to go with the group, and they all turned into all those the people tangled up.
So what about
Um,
the snails? What was it about the snail people? Why did people turn into
they were
snails?
slow.
yeah, they was slow.
Um.
I mean, yeah, I mean, go look at all the
um,
people who turn into snails, bro. Go look at the first dude who turned
yeah,
into
Yeah,
a.
he was
he was
slow.
actually slow.
Let me see.
And then what else? I think all of the people, like one guy was
Um,
obsessed with his
who
vision,
was?
like his art. So yeah, they kind of they embodied the spiral based off kind of like how it manifested with them. Vanity. Their shadow selves created the type of spiral that they would turn into.
Hmm.
So
I'm trying
what
to
is the
think.
trigger for us, or what from the
It's
show?
like
Because it'll probably be
like
snail. It'll probably
yeah,
be
for
snail
sure.
for me.
You think snail for you?
Yeah, I'm a slow walking ass nigga. I lurch
He said
because
I'm
I'm
slow. I
tall.
learned.
So like, yeah.
It
Like,
would either have to be that or you spiral into madness.
oh, that one. I would be the people that turned into the remember the nigga NATO?
Oh, you be a nigga
Yeah.
NATO? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I'll be a nigga
actually
NATO.
a
That makes
nigga
sense. I
yeah.
can see
I'll be
you
a nigga
definitely.
NATO.
Yeah,
There are these guys in the village who just like turned into actual tornadoes because they was just
yeah.
tearing shit up,
Mm-hmm.
just fucking
I'll
shit
be
up.
a nigga
Yeah.
NATO. Yeah.
Y'all too
Shit they
loud. I mean, you talk too loud, they coming for you. It was crazy. Then the sound waves, and then the guy who was a creep,
Mm-hmm.
who turned into the spiral in the wall. Let me see. Let me think of my type of spiral.
Huh. I think I would somehow turn in on myself. Like I think I would have been like the dad, like he turned like into the washing machine spiral.
Yeah,
I would become like a self spiral. Like somehow I would some version of spiraling in on myself would be that. I don't know if it'd be like the girl in my head or the
yeah,
dad just it would be kind of some kind of self spiral.
yeah. What would I do?
Now I
It's
wouldn't
I'm
mind.
torn.
I, w-
Go ahead.
I wouldn't mind the. No, I would say I wouldn't mind the couples. The thing where you
I know
get
you
twisted
wouldn't.
up with
He
somebody.
wouldn't
I
mind.
know you wouldn't.
Yeah,
He trying to be locked in like them snakes.
yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's like nightmare fuel for me. Ugh.
Man,
I don't
listen.
think I like nobody that much to be
Mm-hmm.
spiraled and locked in this monster with them.
No
Um,
thanks.
I'm torn between. I probably would want to be a nigga NATO because it just like we
It
here.
seemed fun.
I mean, because I'm not finna just be suffering and not have fun. I mean, that's why I think I would be a nigga NATO because I'm like, "Man, this place is lost cause. We just gonna tear shit up.
Yeah.
Let's speed it along. I feel like I would do that, but I also could see myself maybe closing in on myself.
Yeah.
So it'll be
Now,
one of
what I
those two.
would love to, what would be my personal hell though, because I've been trying not to order. I've been trying not to get these honey buns. If I turned into a cinnamon roll, but like I had to keep people from eating me, like the snail that
Yeah,
dude was trying to eat. If I that would be so fitting. That would be fitting.
you turn it to a cinnamon roll if you could make up your own spiral.
I'm always worried about like I'm trying. Okay, I don't need to go eat. I don't need to go eat that. I don't need to go eat that. So then it like you find what you focus on. So then I
Right.
become something that I'm trying to keep somebody from eating. Like that would probably be my hell
That
moment.
would
That
be
like oh god,
hilarious if
it
you
would
turned
be
into a cinnamon roll.
man,
Oh, he disappeared. I can't think of like an original spiral that I would be
man.
besides a hurricane. Does that count? I'd love to be a cloud spiral.
Mm,
Just
mm,
raining
mm.
down terror on people. I think
I
that'd be
thought about
hilarious.
that too. I thought about becoming the cloud, but you had to get incinerated to
I'm
become the
cool with
cloud.
that.
See,
I'm like, I'm
Right.
cool with that. To become a
see,
cloud, just gotta die to
see.
be able to be up in the sky. I think they'd be
Dang.
kind of cool, just raining down terror on people.
Nah, see,
Yeah.
no thanks.
So I
Nah, but
definitely,
anyway,
my nightmare would be to become like the wife.
what happens to the wife? Oh, the
The
crazy
wife
those
of
afraid of
it
spirals.
is just like because her husband was in everything. It was
Yeah,
like once
yeah,
he died, she was
yeah,
gone. Like it was like her husband gone, she gone.
yeah.
So
But y'all go check out one if y'all have Max, formerly HBO Max. Check out Uzumaki. It's there. It's anime. It's 4 episodes.
it's only 4 episodes.
But check it out so y'all can know what we're talking about. At least the first episode.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
man, it's disturbing, but I think it
it's
is
a
a good
server.
allegory for life, though. I will say about spirals. So I've been having my own spiral.
Yeah,
You know, I
I'm
finally
definitely
got to
spiraling.
the end, and luckily that wasn't the end spiral. So I got spit
Yeah,
into another spiral, I guess.
let's go.
So
No, that's
we
good though. I like what do you say when you're spiraling? What's your like parachute? How do you pull up? How do you pull out?
I don't.
Okay, so you just follow the spiral. You just take it all the way
You
down.
know I'm chaotic.
Yeah, I know you're chaotic, but
And
I
you
mean,
know I have a
you
slide
have
into the
mechanisms. You have slow down mechanisms. You have brakes. I've seen you apply brakes. Like you know what? I'm tripping.
um then I probably possessed in that moment. I have no idea how I slow
Okay.
myself down. It feels like I just intuitively know, like, oh, we're getting too fast here.
Yeah.
And then I
Okay.
like either will because sometimes I throw like once again I'm chaotic. I throw myself
Mhm.
into spirals. You notice I have been known
Yes.
to. I just feel like spiraling today. Like
Yep.
and I just
You
throw
do.
myself into.
Feels like a good day for a spiral.
Feels like a good day for a spiral. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I enjoy them. So I think intuitively I'm just like, yeah, this is getting too fast or this is because I can see like, oh, when I enter it, what is the max of this spiral, and I'm like, I should
Yeah.
not ride this spiral out. So I think it's just like an intuitive feeling out spirals that I have now. What is
I
he
feel like
doing?
Yellow's humming to keep from
I
going
know
crazy.
he's spiraling now with
He's spiraling
technology.
now. Tech spiral.
Technology is spiral, yeah.
Technology. Wow, you can't hear us yet. That's crazy. That's crazy.
I can eat now.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I was just like that. So yeah, I'm comfortable with spirals because I think
Mhm.
spirals are like it represent chaos and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So yeah, I'm cool with it. It's y'all order people that don't like them.
Yeah, that's true. Disposition does. Temperament disposition does affect how spirals do you. So, was
Right.
there ever a time where you felt like your life was spiraling? And how did you deal with that?
Every
Right now, nigga.
day. Right
That's the secret,
At
now.
Cap.
this
I'm
moment.
always spiraling.
I'm
Right.
always spiraling. Um, like a spiral I didn't want though.
Yeah, like out of your control.
Um,
Like you felt like a loss, like that sense of loss and foreboding and all that stuff.
I don't,
How far back do you have to go since you felt uneasy
yeah,
in a
it's probably
spiral?
before I was saved. I would say
Okay.
that was the spiral that got me to the
Yeah.
becoming part of the all spiral, and now I don't fear spirals.
Hey, let's
But yeah,
go.
before that, when I was like living my life to the max of desire, like you say, like
Gotcha.
it's just like whatever I want to do, I do it. Like self-indulgence kind of desire.
Yeah, gotcha.
And like I that's why I know that that is true. What Jonathan Majella said, like it's never enough. It's just always higher, 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 higher. So it's like
Mhm.
I lived that spiral out and I did not. I was like, "Oh, this is bad." So then I had to like
I'm in danger.
right. It's like, "Oh, maybe I shouldn't have everything I want cuz this is
Yeah.
bad." Like so that's probably the last time.
All right, cool. Real quick, Yella, tomorrow. I know you said you're off tomorrow. Was that correct? I know Bree said
No.
she was free tomorrow. You're not off tomorrow?
No.
Boo! Boo!
He's spiraling
I'll
right
be
now.
free
He
about the
told you.
same.
At the same time?
Yeah, be free about
Okay.
around the same time I listen.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to schedule
Rashawn?
something for 3 p.m. tomorrow, 2 Central. I'm going to schedule something.
Okay. When is the last time y'all spiraled?
I'm spiraling now. I started the stream with that. I'm spiraling. Real life. Spiraling.
We losing time. Oh yeah, you did say
Spiraling.
you losing time.
hmm
It's getting
Losing
fast.
time, memory. It's like memory confusion. I'm spiraling. But I know, like you said, I'm dissociated. I don't want to be in my body because my body, I'll be stressed if I'm in my body.
Yeah.
I don't want to be there. I don't want to be in body.
But stress is good.
No,
It's telling
no,
you
not for
that
me. Not for me. It's I do not navigate stress well.
Y'all be trying to find good in the wrong shit sometimes.
I mean it's a mechanism to your
It
it's a
is a mechanism.
mechanism to
It is.
to signal you that
Yeah.
something blah 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 blah.
So let me walk through. I'll be like kind of vulnerable, like semi, quasi, like right now, because of the living situation. I'm moving in here by like early November, but I've been self sabotaging. I have not really been looking hard. I know I can fall back and like get like an extended stay or something. So I have not actually been looking for housing. I have not. So, but I will be leaving here by like early November. So like that's the stress. That's where the stress is coming from. And I know I'm doing it to myself because I haven't been making the calls I need to make. Um, so that's where the stress is coming from. Underneath the stress, though, if I get into myself, if I'm present and I'm thinking, not just about that situation, it's also bringing up the relationship problems, like the
Okay,
people
that's
that I'm
stress.
leaving.
Got it.
Like so it's not just the stress of the situation, it brings with it the emotionality
Yeah.
of the loss. So
Okay,
then I
so
have
it's
to
the
face
loss.
the
Yeah.
grief. I have to
Right.
face the grief as like I feel it now. I have to face the grief to deal with the stress, and
Right.
it's overwhelming.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
yeah,
The
tapped out.
grief aspect makes more sense about what you would
hmm
dissociate from versus like a
Yeah,
logistical thing. like moving
Yeah,
or
it's
something.
whew,
So yeah,
man, it's
grief is
tough.
like definitely
Tough.
dissociation
Yeah,
worthy though.
tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the grief it's hit me hard. I'm gonna tell you because again, the reason I used language and I kind of glossed over it, but I lost the relationships with the people I consider like my forever people, like the anchor beings, the people you'll never lose in your life. I
Right.
lost those, and they're alive. And nah, it is fucking with me. Oh
Yeah.
man, that
Ambiguous
part,
loss.
man,
Like what do you even do with it?
yeah, that part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's yep.
And again, my grandmother, she died. I lost the two living people that I can't be in relationship with. They were
Yeah.
the other three. If I had a top three, if I had a Mount Rushmore, my grandmother died. And then the next two, I can't be in relationship with. Actually, the next three. But I had a
Yeah.
fallout with two of them. The fourth one, I always knew was a problem. But I was
Mhm.
like, okay, I can deal with it because I have so many other positive relationships. Then
Right.
everybody kind of like noped out at the same time. I'm like, wow, it was all this year. All this year. I'm like, oh, that was too much.
Yeah. Does it like I mean, because we all
Ooh.
have talked about like the whole like little internet friends thing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was a line from one of the people. Yeah, that was
Do you
You're like
think
internet friends.
yeah,
yeah.
that was hurtful. That was hurtful.
Like so if we were talking about like values and like how changing
Mhm.
sometimes just kind of veers you off a little bit. What do
Yeah.
you think it is about the little internet friends that veered you off so
I
far
don't
that these
know.
people feel like, where are you going? I cannot go.
I don't
Anime.
even. That's the thing. I don't even think it was y'all. I think y'all. I think you guys were the proxy. Because I felt like the same thing happened with Wireless Woman.
Mm-hmm.
She thought that my feelings were brought up. She thought that my feelings or whatever she felt off of me was brought on by y'all. So she thought y'all were
Mm,
saying something to make me feel distant or whatever. But her
mm,
behavior, the way she behaved, was problematic for me. So I was already like,
yeah.
I'm not going to keep. I can't. I'd already decided. I told y'all
Yeah.
I'm not going to collaborate with her again. I had verbalized that with y'all. She didn't know that, but I had told y'all because I had just made that decision. Because I think we were on the stream with I digress,
Yeah.
and she was just it was so chaotic, and she
Yeah.
wouldn't let people talk, and it was
It's
I was
tough.
like I don't like this energy, and I don't want to have to try to corral an adult. And at that moment, I was like I'm not going to stream with her again. And then the very next thing was when she was in the chat, and she sent me that message. Y'all were talking bad about her or something, but y'all were never
Yeah.
negative towards her in the chat or to me. So what I think she felt was me like, okay, this ain't working. I think she felt like this collaboration, it just don't, the energy ain't there. Whatever it was she was looking
Right.
for, my pullbackness or my
Something
standoffish,
about you pulling back
and
for
she assumed it
people.
was y'all, and she probably just assumed or wanted to think it was y'all. Whatever, I don't know, but I feel like that's the same thing where little internet friends came from. People feel something, whatever it is with me, they feel that and like, well, it must be this new thing. It
Mm.
must be this. Like if I had gone to church, they'd be like, oh, it's because you think you're a
It's
Christian
because
now.
you went to
Or
church.
if I got a new
Right.
job, oh, it's because you think you're better than us now. Like they just associated it with that, but I don't think it's that. I literally the things that I asked for from people was the most basic modicum of respect that you would give somebody in a relationship. Like I mean, sincerely. Like
That's
I'm just going down. Like with somebody, this is somebody I've known for 25 years. At this point, best friend. Talk almost every day. After the bear conversation, we Greg introduced that mosquito and alligator. Would you rather be trapped in a room with a mosquito and alligator? Greg said he would rather face the alligator because mosquitoes kill millions more people than alligators do. But I was like, that's so crazy. So I
Yeah.
posed that to her.
yeah, be putting
I
them
posed
numbers.
that to her, and she chose the alligator too because alligators are stupid and mosquitoes kill millions of people. I'm like, I've been bitten by 1,000 mosquitoes, and I'm still here. I'm not going to chance getting bitten by an alligator. But she's like, you can just jump on a desk and you'll never get bitten by the alligator. I'm like, I'm not going to take that chance. Give me the mosquito. But for whatever reason, that hypothetical just got her hot. Just made her. She was just hot, elevated.
Oh.
So then she's like, you know what? I'm done with this conversation. I'm like, okay. And like again, I'm in the middle, so she interrupts me to say, you know what? I'm done with this conversation. I'm like, okay. Then she's like, you know what? I'm getting off the phone. I'm like, okay. And she's like, you know what? Never mind. And I was like, okay, do your thing. I hung up the phone. That was it. Now this is somebody I've known for 25 years. All right, okay, not elevated, not yelling. Just okay, do your thing. And I hung up the phone. She says that I hung up on her. Now she interrupted me, ended the conversation that we were having, and said she's going to end the call. I said, okay, do your thing. To me, that's satisfactory. But she said I hung up on her. Now, me hanging up on you then caused 4 days of no contact. Then when I tried to like, okay, what's going on? It's been 4 days. Like I'm still not ready to talk to you because you hung up on me. I'm like, it's been 4 days. Even if I hung up on you, 4 days from somebody that we would think is like a best friend, somebody that you would consider a close friend, somebody that you would talk to every day. 4 days because I hung up on you and you won't even like talk that out. I'm like, I'm not where I need to be in this relationship. 25 years of equity
Yeah.
should get me a conversation where I don't have to wait 4 plus, because at 4 days she still wasn't ready to talk. So I'm going to have to wait 4, 8, 12. I don't even know. So 25 years of investment, and I get that. I'm like, I can't be in a relationship with that. That's not okay. I'll never have a friend that makes me wait a week to figure out what went wrong because I hung up the phone that you were going to get off of. Like that's crazy. That was one of them.
Absolutely.
And that to me, that's insane. And then the big book
And
of a
that's
reply,
unrelated. And
and
that's
it was
like
all
the
yeah. There was a
unrelated.
bunch of accusations, and it was a bunch. Of, I can't even remember what it was. But it was a bunch of accusations and narcissism and trying to gaslight her. I'm like, what? I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah. Okay. So then it wasn't us, unless we're just like making your narcissist power stronger.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine.
I
So
mean,
that was the fall of that. But I'm like, if it takes me 4 days to get over being hung up on,
yeah.
like as a matter of fact, I might call
It
you back
ain't.
immediately.
It ain't
Like,
even really the hanging up
nigga,
on.
did
Yeah.
you hang up on me? Did you hang up on me? Yeah. Okay, that's all I need to know. You know what I'm saying? I'll call you when you apologize. Or I'm gonna call back like, did you hang up on me? Well, I didn't mean to, the call dropped. Okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? Like one of those two I could live with. Even if somebody's like, yeah, I hung up on you, I was pissed. I could even live with that.
Right.
But like have the conversation. And I could have that immediately. Like, it was over a mosquito and an alligator. That's why we're
That's why
ending
he
the
be so.
call.
That's why when I talk about people asking about the worm, you be like, "Don't ask
Man,
me
listen.
about no fucking worms."
Don't ask me about no worm.
'Cause hypotheticals are
But
dangerous.
it
I
could,
Man,
got you.
man.
but it could be
Sorry.
anything though, and that sucks.
Yeah,
It
they just
don't
said
even have
Yeah,
to be
hypotheticals
like,
are dangerous.
yeah, yeah. It could be conversations about like shit people don't even have no weight to nothing.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know what I'm
That's what
saying?
blew
But
me.
if you talk to somebody who feels some type of way about some aspect of the conversation, and you really don't like if it's just a conversation to you,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but if it's a belief system talk for
yeah,
them,
Yeah.
then yeah, it's gonna be a problem.
yeah.
And
I
that's
can
why I
see
stay
that.
away from that shit.
I can see that.
Man, I done butted heads with motherfuckers over hypotheticals, over just random ass conversations, small talk, all types of shit. Cause
Feelings were hurt. Yeah.
it get weird like that.
It can, but I feel like it's just really exposing something that was there
Mm,
anyway that the person probably
yeah.
should have addressed and they don't. So I'm
Mhm.
like, if a hypothetical threw you there, that means you was sitting on it anyway,
Yeah.
and
And then
you
when you
had no
decide to get off
intention
the
to say
phone,
it.
if you tell me I'm ending the conversation and I'm getting off the phone with you, how you exit the call, if you don't cuss me out, how you exit the call is fine. Because I've gotten hot, I've gotten loud, I've interrupted you, I've said I'm ending this conversation and I'm ending this call. If you hang up immediately without saying anything, I would understand that. Like that's me. And I think that's reasonable. Like somebody cut you off, I'm into the conversation, I'm into the call. At that point, anything goes. If you don't disrespect them, any way to end that call is fine. Again, that's me. If I did feel like I got hung up on, I can't. What kind of anger from being hung up on lasts for 4 days or more? Like that. There's a thing I believe in, and
Oh,
maybe
when
it's
the
misguided.
stonewalling start,
Listen,
when that
We
stonewalling
already
shit
know
start,
yellow that would
yeah,
have never happened.
I don't.
yeah.
The size of the person.
You
The
not
size of
finna,
the
yeah, you
person.
not finna.
Go ahead with that delay.
My bad, it's a delay. No, I was just saying, yeah, that whole stonewalling shit and acting like, you know what I'm saying, you just ain't finna
Mhm.
get back around to it. That'll get your ass spazzed on.
Yeah.
Like that'll get you crashed out on. Because the whole dynamic changed because you feel some type of way about what was said in the conversation.
Hmm.
That shit be weird. We supposed to just be having a damn
Yeah.
conversation.
It's
Especially
about a
about some shit
mosquito and
that
an
you know,
alligator.
yeah, especially about some shit you know, motherfucker, that really don't hold no weight to nothing.
That's crazy. Crazy. That's one thing I said. I was like, I don't own a mosquito or alligator. Like this ain't even that serious to me. Like
Right.
I was like, what are you like? What are you getting mad about? Like I don't think either of us own a mosquito or alligator. It's like, what are you getting hot about? I was like, I couldn't even understand getting hot over mosquito or alligator. Like I was, of course, I thought we were having a healthy
It's
exchange.
just a little
I'm sorry.
fun, yeah.
I'm like, yeah, okay, mosquitoes kill more people than alligators. Like, but that's like in Africa. Like over here, we don't get like the Zika virus or whatever else everybody's dying around the world from mosquito bites. Like I'm using logic and reason. I even pulled up some stats. Like I'm
Oh
think I'm
Lord.
engaged.
Oh
You know what
Lord.
I'm saying? Like you know what I'm
I
saying?
will see. I will see. Oh, you were actually having an opinion then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's what okay.
yeah,
Oh no,
You took it too
far
far.
be it for you to have an opinion. Yeah,
yeah,
far be it for you to have an opinion that actually makes sense.
yeah. So it
How
was just.
dare you?
But I thought we were just having
You
like
didn't
a
just you
Yeah,
dialogue.
just
didn't
like a
just
nice
listen to her.
mental sparring kind of
Yeah,
thing.
Nah,
yeah. I thought that's all we was doing. And maybe that was the mistake.
nah.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's the
that might
mistake.
have been a mistake.
Yep.
Like maybe,
Yeah.
I mean, because it's not like we've gone back and forth over other stuff and nonsensical stuff. We
I
playful and
made
bad.
that mistake.
It's
I've made that mistake before, like
yeah,
doing that to open up like a nice exchange of ideas, but then like the
yeah,
the the retorts are seen as an attack, or like, why you
yeah,
coming at
yeah,
me? You coming at me? It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
yeah. So some people
yeah,
just don't like. Some people don't
yeah.
like debate. Some people are not master
yeah,
debaters,
yeah. Master the better.
and they don't like it.
We have a lot less
So
mosquitoes in the U.S. because of DDT use in the 50s and 60s. That's mainly why you don't
So
hear people
and
dying
then
from Zika and
especially if they
malaria.
if they found out that you had that conversation here first, and then you
Yeah,
like came over there and now you like coming at them, it's like
yeah. So
something about that
here's the
transports you
background.
to a weird energy.
Here's the background, which I never got an answer to. Here's the background, what I never got an answer to. Why the little internet friends came and thing. So before, when I first started doing the YouTube thing, anytime I tried to talk about it with her,
Mm-hmm.
we somehow ended up into an argument. I don't even know how. It we again we're talk about her day, blah blah blah. Talk about, oh yeah, I talked about this or whatever. We had a conversation because she would ask like, oh
Yeah.
how was the show, how was the stream? I'm like, oh yeah, it was cool. So it wouldn't take 15 minutes before we got into some kind of disagreement. I'm like, where
Damn.
is this coming from? So after that happened the third time, I started doing because you learn, people train you.
Yeah.
So the third time, you're like, oh, how's the stream go today? I'm like, oh, it was cool. Yeah, I'm not going to go
It's a
into.
good
I'm
right.
not going to try to tell you
Mm-hmm.
what we talked about. I'm not going to do that. And
Right.
Mm-hmm.
so I learned pretty quickly. So after that, we quit having problems around the stream because I quit going talking about what we talked about. But
Mm.
that day, she had asked what we talked about, and Greg's alligator and mosquito just blew my mind so much. I didn't just say it was cool. My mind was so like, oh my
You was
god, I
like, oh
can't
my
believe
God, let me
somebody
tell
said
you.
I'd
Right.
rather had an alligator. It was so crazy to me. So I was like, okay, let me actually share what was said. What was said? Greg said this alligator mosquito thing. It's like, yeah, you take. I'm gonna take the alligator.
Mm.
What? It's like what? So and I wish, in hindsight, like I'm thankful that I learned what I learned. I'm thankful that I learned I'm not where I thought I was positionally in a relationship. I'm cool with that. But I wish I had kept my ethic of not expounding on the streams because I didn't know that there was something there. Like I
There's
said, the little
something
internet
there.
friends, there's something there,
Yeah.
but I never found out what it was, and I won't,
Yeah.
now.
Right.
You would never know. Did they watch? Did they ever watch them?
No, they came on one time. So anybody that remembers Blondie,
Yeah, I remember they
that was
came
her.
on one time,
Yeah, she
but they
came on one
typically
time,
don't
but didn't seem to
watch.
watch. Yeah.
Mm, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh
Interesting.
huh. Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. For some reason though, it is this thing about this space and us that then kind of cause conflict with people we
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I
minus
know
me in
Brian.
my life.
Yeah, Brian
I'm trying
really
to say
felt it.
my
Yeah,
people be
So
chilling.
real
yeah,
quick,
Brian really felt it.
real quick, because I'm a nosy person, so I'm gonna feed the nosy person and the nosy person that's in the chat. Anybody that wants to see Blondie, it was part 2 of the Princella. So you can go to the Princella playlist and look for the part 2 of the debate with Harley initiated, and then you can see Blondie. I'll be like, who's Blondie? Oh, she was on the show. I'd want to know. So I'm
Right.
feeding y'all. So anyway, go ahead, Yellow. My bad.
But no, yeah, it is weird because having experienced that as well, just like, oh, you only you know what, you be on them podcasts or you be on them streams, and that's the only reason you be feeling that type of way, or well, you better watch out for so and so, or you got to keep an eye out for so and so. I'm like, man, you better quit playing.
Man.
You
That
not
I mean,
finna,
that's
you
I
know what
think
I'm
that's
saying? You not finna.
interesting that it's caused issues and like y'all are
Yeah,
less attached than me and like my people chill.
that's weird. I don't know.
That's weird. I don't wonder if it's like a time thing. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a woman. I don't know. But,
It could be. It could be
and
because
it's
you're a
just like people
woman.
don't feel
Maybe it's the
I mean,
patriarchy.
I
Like you're
can't
not
say that.
important enough.
it's the patriarchy.
I can't say. I
You're a no
can't
name
say
woman.
that. I can't say that I haven't received that from
Any
a
man?
man though.
Yeah, that's what I was
Mm-hmm.
gonna
No.
say. Maybe it's because it's more of a woman thing. Like, but Shaquille.
Yeah.
I mean, she don't say. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, then the guy thing I got it from nephew. Got
Oh
it from
yeah, he
nephew.
said he got it from a guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Mm.
That
I
was
ain't
Maybe
hear
it's
weird.
him
just
say
like
no
people
dude.
feel like they own your time and stuff. Maybe it's like a mental frame
Yeah.
that like makes that
I
happen.
don't know.
Because I feel like there's
I
a
could
lot
I
of
could I could guess. I can make
I
guesses.
could
yeah,
say I can understand that. Yeah, like some people who feel like you got like a connection with some other people other than them.
yeah.
Yeah,
Some people don't feel like that's like a thing that you're supposed
yeah.
to do or should have.
Mm-hmm.
Like some people don't aren't or
Yeah,
aren't comfortable with the reality of it,
yeah,
which is not how my family operates at all. Like no one.
yeah.
So maybe
Or that
that's
they
why
should be the influence over you.
Mm-hmm.
they want to be the Palpatine in your ear,
Yeah,
pushing you
Man,
to
they
the
ain't
dark
figured that
side.
shit out yet. They ain't figured
yeah,
that
man.
shit out yet. I am out here.
Well, we're toxic. I want to make an apology to all the
Yeah.
internet for being
You should.
toxic and helping people become more badder people.
Yeah. Definitely
You made
wrong.
them
I'm
worse
definitely
off.
More
wrong.
badder. No, we gonna say more badder. Um,
You made them more better.
yeah,
No
I don't
batter
know.
blues.
Sorry.
Yeah. I be wondering though. I wonder, but
Dang.
I know people can't ever articulate when you ask them directly. They never have a solid reason, which is tough. I would
That's
love
why
to
they
find out.
avoid. That's why they actually avoid addressing the issue.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because it's kind of like maybe you
That's
think
why
that maybe they feel like they tripping, or it's just because they don't really know.
They probably don't really know.
they're not prepared for if they are or not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're not prepared for if they are or not. They're more reserved to just figure that you're tripping.
yeah,
You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
you
Put
can
it
be more
on
better.
you. You know what I'm saying? And you're the
and they don't want
one.
to
You
have
know what
the
I'm saying? You the
argument.
one doing
They
the
don't want
thing.
that reality
Yeah,
check,
Yeah.
basically.
They
Because
want the
if
reality. Yeah.
yeah,
confrontation gonna come with a reality check, and it
Yeah.
ain't
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
gonna be on your side. Maybe
yeah,
you
Yeah.
might you might make a confrontation
yeah.
and realize you tripping, and that's not a fun feeling either. So,
Yeah.
But you still want to like be around. So it's like
yeah,
Yeah.
leaving. It's like leaving dog shit on the carpet.
Yeah. I feel like
You
though
know what I'm
that
saying?
I feel like though they are observing something.
yeah,
Like they're observing something, but I think sometimes they miss their insecurity will have them misidentify the something that they're seeing. Like that filter like changes, obscures their view. So they're
yeah.
they're
How
thinking it's
people
something.
observe the behaviors of other. Because like one thing about me, I'm a
Yeah,
certified yapper. My kids will tell you that. My husband, I'll talk to a
yeah,
brick wall and like learn something about it.
yeah,
That's just me. But I know everybody's not like that. So it's like
Yeah.
I could see why people be like, y'all just be on there hanging out. And none of us like really had tradition, like Yella's working now, more of a traditional schedule. But we
Hmm.
was all flaneurs. Like remember we called it,
Yeah.
like I don't work.
I
So
can't. Oh, I
I
hate
be
that.
we just
Ugh.
be around, we just be lounging. Like we be around. And I
Whew.
think for some people they're like, y'all just always is the frame
Yeah.
through which someone how they feels about that. Like we've had people come on there and be like, yeah, right. Anybody who knows me knows I'm a certified yapper. So it's like it's a
Certified.
thing. So like,
Hmm.
but I do know people who maybe don't know me or haven't got to know me. The way you see me talk to somebody, you like you known them a long time, or you must be interested in them. No,
Hmm.
I
I can see that.
can literally talk to I talk to my cat like a human. Okay,
Mm.
I'm just saying. So how people impressions of us and what we have going on when they first enter into the space, or you're talking about those people who just come in for a snapshot. They don't really be around, they might just come like a
Hmm.
friend. They just like, oh, I got this stream
Yeah.
thing, so they kind of just drop in. They don't really know
Yeah.
Yella, or you know
I
what I
get it.
mean. So
Yep.
I think it's kind of like some of that too. Like what
Limited
kind of,
exposure.
yeah. So like what kind of conclusions are they gonna come to from
Yep.
just that little
From a snapshot. Yeah, I get that.
snapshot? Yeah. And
That
some of
makes
that, a
perfect
lot of that
sense.
is like projection.
Hmm. Because they won't fill it in with actual information. They won't
Yeah.
ask you for actual information. They won't observe long enough for actual information. They just make
Yeah.
up a
Right.
story and run with it.
Exactly. So it's that. And we've been doing this for some years and we've heard funny. I love when people finally come out and tell us like eventually like what their first impressions was. That's like my favorite thing. To hear
Yeah.
people say like when they first came into the space what they thought was going what they thought. It's all kind of crazy stuff and I just loved it. So
Yeah.
I understand.
I wish I got more of that kind of feedback. But then part of me does. Let me retract that. The universe, no,
I don't
because I
want
don't.
that.
I don't want to lose the. I don't. No. Nope. Nope.
You said I
Because it makes
repeat
me think of
that.
people different.
I
It made me
repeat
think of
that.
people different. Yeah, for real.
Yeah. I
I
don't
don't
think
need that
I
right now.
it's shocking. It's just
Yeah.
interesting that you see how, like I said, information people give me, I always take it as like more information into who they are, less so
Hmm.
than a like actual 100% truth all the time. But
Oh yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so
I'm
it's
with that.
interesting. But
I
yeah,
know Yellow. He got that little tidbit, and I be wanting to know who it is, but he ain't told us, so I know he don't want to tell us. So I'm like, God dang it, who is it that was warning him on? I'm like, man, yeah, I'm a troll. I'm ultimately a troll, but I troll was what I did to entertain myself, and I that's the thing too. Like for me myself, I know people misidentify me because when I enter a space, if I can't be myself, I do the thing that feeds myself because I can't get it from you. So in like boring spaces, or if there's no activity, I'll entertain myself with trolling. So like I'll troll like I'll be over Mr. He says, and I'll be trolling. I'll be like, oh, I'll be feeding back like, oh, that's dope, or like this is, oh, I never thought about that,
Hmm.
or I'll contribute to the conversation. That means I'm thinking like you've got my mind engaged where I want to be. I want to be in my mind. So if you got my mind engaged, I'm thinking, I'm contributing. Over I'm conscious. I was in there making points. Great. Once you lose me, I'm gonna start trolling. Like the
yeah, we've
moment you've
seen
lost
that.
me, I'm gonna start trolling because now I'm bored. I'm bored and my mind needs something to do. So now
That's how you
I'm
dissociate.
start feeding myself. I'm gonna start feeding myself. Like, okay, how can I turn this into interesting for me? I don't want to leave the space yet because there may be something useful. I'm gonna start trolling. Unless it's just a troll space. Now that doesn't count for a troll space. But if somebody's trying to have a serious conversation and you see me trolling,
He likes the silly
yeah,
serious spaces. That's his
yeah. If it's
preferred
if
brand.
you're taking yourself serious, but you shouldn't be taken seriously, you'll see me trolling there.
He
That's why
like
I
to come
quit going to
piss
certain
on their
spaces.
stream.
Man,
You know.
oh my god, like I
You
know
have to
I've
Very
said
learn
his
to
name
take
before.
yourself too serious.
Oh my god, like Black Man and Filters channel, Black Man and Filter. I know there's people here that watch Black Man and Filter. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with you, but a lot of times these people will take themselves so
I
seriously,
am.
and they.
Before you go in there, I gotta go. So let me go before before you get your black man
I
filter.
wasn't gonna say nothing negative. I was gonna say I would troll in that space.
I'm
But
not
go ahead,
recording.
drop off. Go ahead, do your thing. Go ahead, run. But yeah, that's all I was gonna say. Is that I would troll there if I was there, or I quit going there if I feel the need to troll. I'm gonna quit coming to your space. If I come to your space twice in a row, and I feel like I need to troll to entertain myself, I just don't need to be there, and I'll leave. I'll go somewhere else. Yeah, it's probably why I started trolling as well. Because it's a self entertainment thing. I'm not doing it to get attention. I'm doing it to feed myself. Because you're not. You stopped. So that's me. But I'm not going to troll everywhere. That's why I don't troll everywhere. You don't see me trolling everywhere. It just doesn't make sense. Trolls make the world go round. Yeah. And then there's people that, oh my God, there's people that talk about trolling and they troll. I don't need to go into all the dynamics, but
Man.
this space has been weird. I've learned a lot. This space has been weird, and I've learned a lot.
Man. Welcome to you.
I've learned a
Welcome to
lot.
Black YouTube, the home of the
It's been
contradiction.
crazy.
How
It's
can that
crazy,
happen?
man.
Also the home of do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, that's why you don't see me straight too far away from home anymore. You don't see me on a bunch of places. Like
Mm-hmm.
I had to quit because I just ran into
Mm-hmm.
too many strange dynamics that I couldn't collaborate with. Like the energies be off. And I've heard people say there's a lot of people with mental health ill. I get it. A lot of these content creators are not creating content because they have a creative bone. Some of them are creating content because they need an outlet for their crazy. So I learned that. Some people are there because they just need somebody to talk to. I get that too. But I didn't know that there was a distinction. I thought that everybody was coming to the internet to release creativity. And I learned quickly that that's not the case. But I learned. I learned. I learned. So you got to sit back and watch people first. Like, what is as a content creator, what are they doing? It's like, what's your aim? Like, Bree brought that, the Jordan Peterson. What is your aim? I need to see what your aim is first. Then I can see. Because some people, I can't get what their aim. Some people just want the chaos. I don't want that. I don't want a whole bunch of arguing and bickering. Sheldon keeps the conversation going a lot of times. Yeah.
Because when you live on a planet with P. Diddy and R. Kelly, you have to deal with the foolishness. So,
Famous, boy. And that's another person. I would love to troll over there. I would love to troll over there because they are so anti male over on Themis and Conscious. I love Conscious, but the group they're so anti male. I'll be wanting to troll. I'll be wanting to troll just to be a man. I'm a dude. I'm a straight dude. I want to let y'all know I'm a straight dude, just so I can see y'all get uncomfortable. I just want to do that so bad. Oh my god. Because they be getting uncomfortable. You challenge their thoughts. Oh my god. Do not challenge them. And the woman enclave. But it's cool.
cool.
It's cool. But yeah, y'all, we about done. We about to get up out of here. Yella tomorrow after you get off work. Or
What you got, man? We getting that.
that's what I was thinking.
We here now. Y'all want overtime? Look. What y'all want, chat? Y'all want overtime?
All right. All right, give me a second. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna end this one.
Ism show.
I'm gonna end this one. Give me 15 minutes. Me and y'all are gonna start. All right. If y'all want to come back, I'm gonna put up a thumbnail.
Keep this one going.
Nah. Because it's going to be a totally different topic. I'm going to end it. It's got its own thumbnail. So I'm going to set it for like 15 minutes. All right, y'all. We be back. If y'all want to be back, cool. If y'all got something else to do, that's cool too. See y'all. Peace.